Since I do that too. I think I'm gonna become a premium member. I think I'll be wearing a Valuetainment hat the next time I shout in a hostess's face. Next time I go like this.
Oh my God.
Okay, this is a fun segment right here. These guys love Elon Musk. I don't know what, I don't know what the hell they're trying to do here, but maybe a little bit more preparation before the show, I would say, for this. A little less.
Oh my God.
And a little more. I don't know what that means.
The real reason Elon Musk's newest baby mama chose to go public.
Come on, this is good.
Okay.
I like this. Come on, baby.
Hey, shut up, Brian.
I'm reading the story here. So,
Enough, Brian.
Ashley St. Clair, a 26-year-old conservative influencer, publicly revealed on Valentine's Day that she had a baby with Elon Musk, claiming she had been forced to reveal her secret due to tabloid media probing her personal life. Callan, what thoughts do you have on this here? Are you following it or?
I mean, look, she's 26. That's so wonderfully creepy. I mean, is he in his 50s? God bless Elon Musk. Man, when you have that kind of money,
53. Right.
Listen, she's bring her up for a sec.
So far, kind of getting the story. All right.
I don't know what to say about that. Yeah, she's a beautiful.
Do you know who she is?
I don't.
Okay.
Very pretty. I don't have any idea, dude. I don't know how to make sense of this. I guess he had a kid with her, and then they were outing her, and then she basically.
Adam, what are your thoughts on this?
Let's kick it over to Adam. And we're not getting anywhere with this. Is a dead end. It's a goddamn waste of time. Adam, I mean, this is a dumb entertainment, a valuetainment show. So they should make it funny. You know, PBD should do a bit where he kicks it over to Adam. Adam, what do you think? Look, this is dumb. There's nothing here. Yeah, what do you think? Adam's like, well, he's like, it's enough. Come on, wrap it up, Adam, right before he even starts talking. Enough, Adam. Well, it's an interesting set. Enough, Adam. Shut up. Just don't let Adam speak.
Adam, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, maybe Adam's got something. Come on, Adam. Save this bit, for God's sake, Adam.
The wrong guy to ask.
If you're going to get pregnant. I don't know if I'm the right guy to ask on this. I guess, what is the concern? What is the questions?
Right.
And
maybe meet up before the show. Yeah, what are we going to say about this? 15 minutes, bullet point the crap out. Hey, guy's a nuisance. This guy's a nuisance to society. Also, his personal life seems a little out of control, I guess. I don't know.
I can help.
Well, I want to know what's going on.
Okay. Well,
why did he block her? That's the question.
Did he block her?
That's what the rumor is.
Okay.
Let me just give.
I learned a lot from this. Hey, Adam, again, shut your ass up. I'm learning a lot from this bit, I was going to say.
Bring us back.
Be glad you're living in the States, because in Germany,
I am.
Prosecutors tell 60 Minutes it's a crime to insult people online as government raids offenders' homes. If you've not seen this clip, Rob, please pull up this clip. Guys, this is disturbing. Okay. Oh, shit. We can't, right? Because it's 60
Jesus.
minutes.
This has been the case, though.
Watch your language, PB. Jesus. My kids watch his show. I force my kids to watch his show.
We can dispute. We can play and dispute it because it is covered under fair use. So we should be fine to play.
What happened the last time, though? No, the last time the interview was taken down. Don't play it, Rob.
Can I tell them, Pat, what happens in this video?
Yeah, so don't play this on the back.
CBS
figure it out before the show.
What's going on, Rob? Go ahead.
Figure out in advance.
This person that they're going into their apartment right now with CBS embedded in their police operation, this person posted something online that was apparently racist.
There's a caveat to this.
Yeah.
So in Germany, since World War II, after the Nuremberg trials.
Never heard of them.
The denial of the Holocaust or Nazi propaganda is what is punishable by jail. And this has been happening in Germany for a long time. This is not new. This is just a new story, but this has always been the law in Germany.
Brian Callan, real buzzkill, ruining the party again, just like with the Social Security thing. Come on. Get Joey Coco Diaz on next time. He'll go along with anything. He'll do some of this.
Oh, goddamn Brian Count throwing water all over the goddamn thing again.
In Germany, you could get in trouble for goose stepping around in public. I wonder where that came from in Germany, even though you are allowed to. And guys like Elon Musk support that publicly, which is shocking. Some American deep state guys supporting that kind of stuff. There's not 1,000 books written about that. I've never heard of that before. Well, all right, there we go. Hold on, let me get a look at the day of the. Let me get a look at the day of the week it is here. Ooh. No.
No.
I do not like that. We're not a huge fan of this, but we're still out here going like this. We still out here demanding that everyone...
Show me the proof, dumbass.
But I do, in fact, wish you a happy Monday. Hope you guys are doing good. Oh, by the way, like the video, okay? Would it cause you a huge problem to like the video? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know the details of that. That's private. But if it helps out the video, from what I've been told. Subscribing helps too, I believe. I could be wrong on that. Don't subscribe. No, I think it's that you should. I'll get some clarity on that. But it helps out the show, apparently, so please do it. Love you guys. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Ooh-wee, if you want more episodes of this program, by the way, quick note here. Quick note. You're missing a lot of episodes. Oh my God. No way. Yes. You're missing episodes of this show every week.
Incredible, by the way. Incredible for any German to say this. It's like directly your history. Okay? Yeah, Americans say this all the time, but Americans are... It's very cool that Germans can be just as Americans. I love that. Actually. Fantastic. Gentlemen, that was our German counterpart, German leftist streamer, Dick Karl Dent. And you can find his information here as well. I'm going to continue talking about the German elections, but we are going to take a step back and cover it from a historical approach. The approach is coming from Bestie Marks, friend of the show. Bestie Marks made a YouTube video tracing AfD's history back to Nazi Germany and how similar their policies were. We're gonna start off with this one. The video is called "The AfD's Nazi Connections Run Deeper Than You Think." 23-minute from Bestie Marks, and why it's so scary that the AfD actually gained a lot of seats and a lot of momentum in German politics.
Fight, fight!
I gotta pee.
The far-right AfD is surging. 1 in 5 Germans would now vote for them. Yet, while many insist the AfD are not Nazis, a more unsettling reality lurks just beneath the surface. The party thrives on the normalization of far-right ideology. And here's the real question. Have the seemingly anti-fascist liberal parties, through their own policies on migration, economic equality, and foreign intervention, helped create the very conditions that fuel the AfD's rise?
Dass selbst ein Teil der Grünen inzwischen AfD-Position übernimmt. Das nennen wir eine Zeitenwende.
Today, we're breaking down the AfD's secret and not-so-secret connections to neo-Nazi structures, the role of mainstream politics in normalizing the far right, and why the AfD is only a symptom of something much deeper. Subscribe, hit the like button, and let's get into it. Before starting, I want to say a massive thank you to all those who support the channel on Patreon. All the research and editing takes up a huge amount of time, and your contributions make a huge difference. Every new Patreon matters, so check out the link in the description if you want to support this type of work. Thank you. In 2023, the Spiegel magazine uncovered a secret strategy meeting hosted by the AfD's youth wing, Junge Alternative, short JA. The exact location of the meeting remained secret for a long time. The invitation only mentioned a general area. The guests arrived discreetly. In late February, just over 50 people gathered at Hofrien in Uchte, Lower Saxony, to discuss the Roaring Twenties. One speaker was a certain Peter Steinborn, former leader of the youth wing of the neo-Nazi party called NPD. Another speaker was Dominik Asch, a JA leader who often wears a Thor's hammer around his neck and who gave a lecture on meta-politics, in which he explains how to occupy the pre-political space to shift German discourse to the right. The AfD has been talking about this strategy openly for a long time. So why the secrecy? To understand, we must go back to the beginnings. The emergence of the AfD was a direct financial market crisis in 2010. Founded in 2013 by neoliberal economists and conservative elites, the AfD was initially a response to the euro crisis, much like other far-right, so-called Eurosceptic organizations in Europe. These so-called professors opposed the EU bailouts, not because they disagreed with the disastrous measures imposed on more dependent European countries, but because they wanted to protect German capital from weaker economies like Greece. But as global capitalism continued to unravel after the shock, the AfD adapted. By 2015, with the arrival of refugees fleeing imperialist wars, the party clearly had shifted gears, embracing a racist rhetoric to redirect working-class anger away from the ruling class. It achieved quick success. The media and sections of the German bourgeoisie tolerated this shift, using the AfD to push politics further to the right. On March 25, 2010, Chancellor Angela Merkel said at an EU summit that she agreed to the first bailout package for Greece. The justification of her decision as "without alternative" became a widely used phrase and served as an inspiration for the name of the AfD. The emergence and growth of far-right politics reflects a broader crisis of hegemony. One historical example is, of course, the rise of the NSDAP during the hyperinflation in the 20s. These crises facilitate the bourgeoisie's...
You disgusting terrorist sympathizer. I hope you know that this is, probably going to get you a site-wide ban. I would urge against it. It's not something that I'm, unfamiliar with. A lot of people say this to me all the time. But, you have an 8-year-old account. You've been on this platform since 2017, and now you just have a site-wide ban, Kind of seems silly to do, don't you think? Like, why would you just burn an 8-year-old account? You've been on the platform for 8 years. To say something that I've heard a million times over, Pokimane Gotchigasm. Are you going to stream after the 7-day ban? Or will you put less emphasis on Twitch after? I want to sub to you, but now I also don't want to support Twitch. Called Destiny. Imagine thinking supporting terrorism is less worse than posting a mean message. Well, the problem here is I don't actually support terrorism, but you did openly and foolishly say to a streamer. You must ask yourself why you are this angry and this resentful. Does he think you support Israel? I think maybe he is. Maybe he's confused. Maybe he thinks I'm in support of Israel. Yeah. All right. You just support Hamas. They get kisses from their hostages. Totally normal. I support Palestinian emancipation. If you want to make sure that Hamas doesn't exist, okay, then you have to end the occupation. It's pretty simple. Olive oil giveaway when, by the way, more important than this weird person? What do you mean olive oil giveaway? It's pretty simple. Do you support an end to the Israeli occupation? That's it. How does your psyche handle having vitriol directed to you every day, babe? I'm very used to it at this point. I mean, there's not really... I've heard everything. It's usually I don't really get any comments that are new or unique. I'm fairly desensitized to it. People never actually want to have a cordial disagreement or a constructive criticism directed in my way. They just immediately go, you love terrorism. You're a fan of terrorism. It's pretty easy to, shrug that off. Anyway, let's continue.
Blaming of minorities and the so-called far left for society's problems, directing anger away from the rich through constructing a narrative of national decline and racial purity. According to the Comintern or Italian communist Antonio Gramsci's analysis, fascism emerges as a response to the to pacify the working class through peaceful means, requiring openly authoritarian tools to crush proletarian movements to preserve the capitalist order. Quote, it became clear after the war that it was impossible for the Italian bourgeoisie to go on ruling with a democratic system. For now, there's no need of this. Bourgeois democratic respectability is still a requirement to gain mainstream support. The AfD figure that represents that is the woman at the head of the German far-right party. Alice Weidel, or as a tweet called her, lesbian wine mom Hitler, is the co-leader of the AfD Hitler candidate for the coming elections, and the most popular one in Germany. The former investment banker who lives in Switzerland presents herself as a champion of the ordinary people, ranting against the so-called global elites, undermining German nationhood, while working with the rich herself.
Who else did that in, important periods, important time frames in German history? Who else did an identical thing where they would rally the troops and talk about the average German working class that was getting fucked over by groups that were undermining Germany from within, while also simultaneously working hand in glove with capital owners? In like the 30s, I can't seem to place my finger on it, but
we've talked about the exact same hypocrisy regarding Giorgia Meloni. Another glaring
bicycle bastard, what a name. Thank you for the 10 gift
double standard is her advocacy for traditional heterosexual relationships, despite being in a same-sex partnership with a Sri Lankan-born woman.
Ich bin nicht queer, sondern ich bin mit einer Frau verheiratet, die ich seit 20 Jahren kenne. Wir haben 2 gemeinsame Kinder.
On the topic of prison sentences for homosexuality, one AfD parliament member said we should do that in Germany too. But her main issue is, of course, immigration. Much like...
I just Googled this Hitler bloke. Not good. Yeah, not good.
Other far-right racists, she described multiculturalism as a failed concept and warned of the Islamization of Germany, spreading replacement theory conspiracies, calling for a return to a Germany for Germans, dreaming of a fortress Europa. The former co-leader of the party alongside Weidel stated, we must close the borders and then endure the cruel images. On the topic of migration, AfD politicians have put out statements reminiscent of the most Hitlerite of Hitlerites. We must, of course, dispose of such people. The refugee doesn't care at which border, Greek or German, he dies. The whole development we are witnessing right now, the creation of a mixed peoples to erase national identities, and with that, the surrender of sovereignty to the EU, is simply unbearable. And with this guy, it gets especially ugly. I have a vision now. If things go well in Germany, we will eventually have a kind of...
Guys, I'm gonna be honest, the vibes with this AfD party are not great. And also quite similar to that previous politician that I was talking about, this Adolf guy. Also not great. Not good at all, it seems.
Of apartheid state, like in South Africa back then, where whites just somehow keep the rest in check. Once we finally get there, we'll line them all up against the wall, dig a pit, throw them all in, and dump quicklime on top. Now, hearing the word deportation over and over again might seem almost normalized in the former Hitler country, because it is.
would you force them back to Syria?
Deportation ist ein Begriff, den wir überhaupt nicht verwenden. Das ist ein Nazi-Begriff und Zwangsdeportation gibt es für uns überhaupt nicht. Zum Schluss auch mit Abschiebung. Natürlich, das ist Teil des deutschen Rechtssystems, auch des europäischen Rechtssystems. Rückführung, Abschiebung. Abschiebung ist der fachliche Begriff bei der Polizei.
You don't like the word deportation because of its historical connotations, but whatever you call it, that's the reality for these people, isn't it?
Wenn Sie das Deportation nennen, hat das einen völlig falschen Zungenschlag. Das wollen wir nicht.
People forget that before the systemic mass extermination of Jewish people, the Nazis called for deportations to create a physically cleansed Germany, free of Jews, for instance, by deporting Jews out of their homes into ghettos and to drive them into Soviet territory. Although, needless to say, supporting genocide is also still normal for ruling German parties. Today, virtually all the major parties are in favor of deportations. According to liberal logic, if the center-left parties didn't argue for it, they would lose voters to the far right. So to them, stopping the far right means becoming the far right themselves. But also, they serve to create scapegoats such as migrants, anti-Semitic Muslims, and so-called cultural elites to direct anger away from those in power. The Greens and the SPD, despite their progressive anti-fascist branding, frame migration as a security issue, thus contributing to the dehumanization of migrants and reinforcing the narrative that they are a threat to social cohesion. This rhetoric not only legitimizes the AfD's xenophobic agenda, but also undermines solidarity among the working class, dividing it along ethnic lines. But, much like Italy's Giorgia Meloni, Alice Weidel is still the quote-unquote polished bourgeois democratic face of the AfD. So much so that neo-Nazis online call her a puppet and a traitor, especially after she said that Hitler was a communist.
Back then, during the Third Reich, the National Socialists, as the word says, they were socialists. Adolf Hitler considered... So. Yeah.
Incredible, by the way. Incredible for any German to say this. It's like directly your history. Okay? Yeah, Americans say this all the time, but Americans are stupid. It's very cool that Germans can be just as stupid as Americans. I love that. Actually, fantastic. Look her up. Her grandfather was a Nazi judge. Yeah. That's why she knows better. She's like, yeah, my grandfather, who was a Nazi, was a big socialist, loved socialism. They loved socialists so much they killed them, even within their ranks, and said socialism was a Jewish invention to undermine the superior German race. You know, classic socialist stuff.
They nationalized industries like crazy.
Yes, absolutely. He was a communist.
They did not do that.
And he considered himself as a socialist.
What they'd like to see is another prominent AfD leader at the top. One who before Weidel became known internationally was the most famous AfD figure. And that man is waiting in the wings. Björn Höcke is a leading figure of the AfD and head of the party in Thüringen. Influenced by his anti-communist father, he began to work as a teacher after studying sports and history. In an NPD magazine, it's pretty much confirmed that he wrote articles under the pseudonym Landolf Ladig, praising the ideas of the NPD, glorifying the Nazi regime, claiming that foreign powers have been envious of the Germans' discipline, and spoke of a revolution brought closer by self-amplifying crisis dynamics. The identitarian system opposition must take the lead in this revolution to introduce the organic market economy based on racial biology. The publisher of the magazine is a close friend of Höcke, one certain Thorsten Heise, a current leader of the NPD and one of the most influential German far-right ideologues. The convicted neo-Nazi has organized skinhead concerts and Nazi gatherings. Following the Holocaust denier David Irving, Höcke stated in a letter that the air raids on Dresden in 1945 were a violation of international law, quote, never before in world history and never afterward. where so many people moved from life to death in such a short time. Höcke
They
had
were
to
Nazis,
promise
they
the school
deserved it.
administration
Fuck
that he would never again publicly express such views as a teacher. In 2010, at the commemoration of the Dresden bombings, he demonstrated alongside neo-Nazis. According to a former student, Höcke, as a teacher, repeatedly praised the work of Psychology of the Masses by Gustav Le Bon and often spoke about charisma, told stories of his grandfather's meeting with Adolf Hitler, and described Hitler's incredibly blue eyes as a central element of the Führer cult. He was fascinated by Nordic mythology and regularly wore a Mjolnir pendant around his neck. 2 years later, he called the Holocaust Memorial in Berlin a monument of shame, invoked the idea of a reversal of history, demanding that Germany stop its culture of reclaim its identity. In speeches, he refers to a 1,000-year Germany.
I wonder what he's talking about. I'm a little confused. Like, what does he mean?
A phrase that reminds of Hitler's concept of the 1,000-year Reich and uses Nazi concepts like Lebensraum. His 2018 book includes passages eerily similar to the works of SS figures. I am convinced that the Germans' longing for a historical figure who will one day heal the wounds in the nation, overcome the divisions and put things in order is deeply rooted in our souls. In 2019, media reports began revealing that Höcke attended secret far-right meetings where he discussed plans for remigration, a euphemism for ethnic cleansing used by right-wing extremists. In a 2021 speech, he got fined 13,000 euros for using a forbidden Sturmabteilung slogan, Alles für Deutschland, everything for Germany. Just last year, he was banned again.
Yeah, he messed up. He should have said alternative. It is pretty funny that these guys have to like operate within these liberal boundaries, but it's clear that like those liberal boundaries, in terms of like free speech and whatnot, like restrictions on hate speech in general, has not really stopped them. You know, yeah, guardrails are made out of cardboard, exactly.
And for chanting the first part, encouraging the audience to reply with the rest. While the National Party leadership maintains a facade of respectability, Höcke is a direct link between AfD politics and hardcore neo-Nazi ideology. And this is very important to understand. Fascism is not something that wins or loses during one election. It is the result of a systemic shift over a long period of time. Take the CDU-CSU Conservative Party, for instance, which invoked the Brandmauer firewall against any cooperation with the AfD. But over time, they've been gradually softening this stance. And this year, the CDU has finally cooperated with the AfD in the parliament for the first time, a historic turning point, opening up the possibility to have a far-right party in the German government for the first time since World War II. Also, take the complicity of the liberal parties, which are ultimately constrained by their commitment to maintain the capitalist order, prioritizing economic stability and the interests of the bourgeoisie over the needs of marginalized groups, normalizing AfD discourse and shifting the Overton window further to the right. The SPD during the Weimar Republic, which had positioned itself as a defender of the working class, repeatedly compromised with conservative forces to maintain political stability, as seen in the SPD's collaboration in suppressing the revolutionary movement by collaborating with fascists, and its support for austerity measures during the Great Depression.
Yep.
And enough has been said about the centrist party's role during that time. The main report at the 7th World Congress of the Comintern in the 30s put it very well. Quote, before the establishment of a fascist dictatorship, bourgeois governments usually pass through a number of preliminary stages and adopt a number of reactionary measures which directly facilitate the accession to power of fascism. Whoever does not fight the reactionary measures of the bourgeoisie and the growth of fascism at these preparatory stages is not in a position to prevent the victory of fascism, but on the contrary, facilitates that victory. However, believe it or not, Höcke is still just the so-called moderate wing compared to other members of the AfD, slowly but surely gaining more and more influence in the emerging party. Publicly, the AfD tries to maintain distance from neo-Nazi organizations. When the NPD encouraged its supporters to vote AfD, the party quickly distanced itself. While the Communist Party of Germany was quickly banned by the post-war West German government, the NPD was left untouched and remains so to this day. It emerged out of a Nazi organization whose members defaced synagogues with swastikas and demanded that Jews...
That's interesting. Real interesting. How odd that the Communist Party was banned, still is, but the Nationalist Party is not.
Jews leave Germany. The AfD has a so-called incompatibility list on paper. But evidence tells a different story, making this list meaningless. Let's talk about some of these isolated cases which seem to happen over and over again. One such case is Andreas Kalbitz, once one of the AfD's most powerful figures. He attended neo-Nazi marches and even a gathering of a banned group linked to the Hitler Youth. The AfD kicked him out, not for his ideology, but as a strategic move to avoid scrutiny. Yet, he still holds a seat in Brandenburg's state parliament under the AfD faction. In one speech, he said openly what others don't dare to do. Quote, "The AfD is the last evolutionary chance of this country. After that, it's just helmets on." But these so-called isolated cases are anything but rare. Studies show that the AfD gained traction where the NPD was strong. It is argued that the open Nazi party laid the groundwork for the AfD's normalization. Behind the scenes, AfD parliamentary offices have hired former NPD candidates and individuals from banned organizations. And these guys are not just at the bottom, but linked to the leadership. Quote, "We differ from the NPD primarily through our bourgeois support base, not so much in terms of content." But it doesn't stop there. One former NPD member who worked as a staffer for the AfD is Marcel Grauf. He's known for having said the following things. "I so desperately wish for a civil war and millions of dead, women, children, I don't care. It would be so beautiful. I want to piss on corpses and dance on graves. Sieg Heil. At least we now have so many foreigners in the country that a Holocaust would be worthwhile again." The fact that they generally tend to subhuman behavior is already due to their race. This, surprise, surprise, was of course not an isolated case. Another Hitlerite hired by an AfD deputy is convicted neo-Nazi Mario Müller. In Brandenburg, the AfD faction's top candidate was active in the Spreelichter, a group banned in 2012 for its neo-Nazi ideology. These are just a few examples out of many. AfD youth members have been photographed training in combat sports with members of banned Nazi groups. When confronted, the AfD brushed it off as just, quote, "a normal sports club." What is considered has been shown to be open Nazism and genocide in history already. The fascist movement does not need to win in government in order to find the danger of the workers' movement, much like in Italy, where the Fasci fought proletarian power to defend private property. The far right today utilizes the threat of the strengthening of left-wing extremism to legitimize support. Quote, "Take the left-wing extremist threat seriously and participate in all possible measures to finally rid the German national body of this tumor. Those bastard Antifa kids of stoned parents should be threatened that next time they'll end up underground. Deport Antifa to Buchenwald, work instead of left-wing terror." The Nazis viewed communists as their main political enemies, and many were among the first detainees in concentration camps. The Bolshevik threat was used by Hitler to centralize state power. While communist organizing is weak at the moment,
the ironic part about this, by the way, is that there are still liberals who look to that and say, and that's why, because the left went too extreme, that the Nazis rose to power. This is a common argument that I hear from liberals in, 2024 and 2023. This is a common argument that I had heard from liberals over and over again, which is so insane because you're assuming the role of historic liberalism that straight up was wrong after the fact.
There is no need to institute a fascist system and undermine formal bourgeois freedoms. But the international progressive and communist movement is growing, and the threat of fascism grows in a dialectical relationship to it. Quote, in short, democracy organized fascism when it felt it could no longer resist the pressure of the working class in conditions even of only formal freedom.
When your mass movement becomes big, and then they will try to suppress you, they will come out with fascism. So before you can have capitalist, monopoly capitalist class will unleash fascism under various pretexts. They use chauvinism against immigrants, xenophobia, Islamophobia, and also many other tricks just to hide the roots of the crisis.
As the contradictions of the imperialist system deepen, poverty, climate change, and war continue to drive mass migration, consequences of a global system of exploitation that overwhelmingly benefits capitalists and wealthy nations. Just as they failed a century ago, liberal parties today are incapable of stopping the rise of fascism when they themselves facilitate its rise. What's needed is a movement that stands in defense of the exploited and marginalized. Fascism may not take full control in the immediate future, but it doesn't have to. The fascist movement is already growing, while the liberal capitalist order, just as it is right now, is more than enough of a catastrophe, destroying the planet, impoverishing the working class, and enabling genocide. The time to organize is now, before it's too late.
Relevant threat. The AFD is set to come second and stay out of government, but by pushing anti-Muslim, anti-immigrant, and anti-Palestinian laws to be the political forefront. The AFD has already mainstreamed this agenda and changed the country, forming Staatsraj. I can't say that. The right has pushed the boundaries of what is acceptable, manipulating Germany's culture of atonement into a commitment to defend Israel at all costs, no matter how extreme its actions. This proxy nationalism is defended by an unholy alliance of the right, left, and center. $10 only, sheesh. What are you talking about? Oh, donors on the video. So this is something that I talked about. This is something that I talked about with Donald Trump. If you remember in the Newsweek article that came out before the election, where I was talking about how sad I was about the election, regardless of whether Kamala Harris wins or loses, that Donald Trump had successfully undermined American politics, or rather destroyed it and then rebuilt it in his own image. This is precisely what's happening with the AFD in Germany. The AFD is also gaining a lot more momentum in this process, but they are simultaneously bringing all the center parties further and further to the right. Center parties, seeing the growth of the AFD out of fear that the AFD are basically doing their very best to take on a lot of the right-wing positions of the AFD in an effort to say, hey, you don't need to go to the alternative. We are the alternative. Now, of course, not realizing what happens with that process, I, as an American, am very familiar with this. You become, if you're not the alternative and you become the AFD yourself, is that a good thing? Is that actually a good thing? Like what? You're just going to manage fascism in a more technocratic approach? Is that what it is? And that's the problem, because that process, unironically, also makes people more open-minded to the real thing. The AFD didn't pioneer this idea that anti-Semitism is left-wing, but they jumped on it at the perfect time. The AFD made this explicitly political. They pioneered this as a political weapon within the parliamentary framework with the first draft of the BDS resolution. Germany's been stuck with what Hans Kundani calls Zionist McCarthyism, which we have here in the United States of America as well. The cancellation of events, funding, media campaigns, and police brutality regularly administered to those who criticize Israel's occupation of Palestine and the brutal war in Gaza. The AFD used this. They are utilizing Zionism as a very effective censorship tool. This is what right-wing parties do. The Republican Party is doing the same thing. After years and years of advocating for Nazis to directly march on college campuses and making that the forefront of their political movement, Republicans so quickly turned around and was like, no, anti-Semitism is a major problem in college campuses. We have to create an anti-Semitism task force. Ironically enough, of course, the anti-Semitism task force will obviously target Jewish anti-fascists as well as anti-fascists of every other background. Because for them, it has nothing to do with anti-fascism. Of course, I mean, it has nothing to do with, it has nothing to do with anti-Semitism and everything to do with destroying your enemies in a way that even liberals will be, liberals will look at in a permissible way. Okay, they're building they are building the machinery of censorship in an effort to squash all matter of momentum. Okay, they want to make sure that they just stop all dissent. Really, look no further than the insane 501c3 bill that the Republicans tried to pass and Democrats voted to pass initially in Congress. They wanted to make it so that Trump was the incoming president. Democrats knew this. And in that lame duck period, Democrats who were pro-Israel, Democrats who are pro-Israel literally voted to give the Trump department, the Trump Treasury, awesome powers to decide any and every 501c3 group. Any 501c3 group is actually a terrorist group. The funniest thing just happened to me. Look at what I'm quote retweeting now. What? Bernie and his wife skimmed millions from his 2 presidential campaign. Oh, you got quote retweeted by Roger Stone. Bernie and his wife skimmed millions from his 2 presidential campaign. He's an obnoxious, honking loudmouth and a hypocrite. He's driving a top-of-the-line Mercedes and has multiple vacation homes. Kash Patel should do a deep dive on Bernie's finances, and then Bernie could have a federal vacation. Anything just to shut him the fuck up. Oh, God. I hate these people so much. I just joined Die Linke and getting involved in political activism, even though my rough German as is. The DE coverage is helping tremendously in getting caught up to speed. Much love. Hell yeah. I mean, they're just like openly and actively saying like we should jail Bernie Sanders. That's crazy. Those surprised or perplexed by Alice Weidel's marriage, including the BBC, most German gays probably voted for the AfD. I don't know about that. This is a Spectator magazine editorial manager. SourceRomeo.com. What the hell? Yeah. I don't know how reliable this information is. But speaking of which, I do want to get back to something important here. As I have warned, that the chatter from earlier that wished that I kill myself is, of course, received a site-wide ban, unsurprisingly. That's an 8-year-old account that he burned for no reason. But anyway, one thing I want to mention here, okay? We got to talk about this. All right? Remember how I was telling you that time and time again, the Netanyahu administration has shown that they are not really afraid of the growth of the nationalist, fascist, and oftentimes even anti-Semitic movements in Europe. This is yet another great example of such. The far right in Germany, according to Haaretz reporting, is not regarded by Netanyahu government as a threat, but rather as a potential ally. For Israel, the AfD is the cherry on top, providing a platform to continue their shared crusade against Muslims and Palestinians. This is from a report that showed that the Foreign Ministry of Israel quietly started giving assurances to far-right parties all around Europe. Apparently, knowing full well that there was a momentum happening on the nationalist front in Europe.
Hardpoint lockdown. We've taken control. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
In taking out Hassan and owning the leftists.
No, I'm not. Nope. I just don't like Frogan and Denims, right? I don't like Frogan and Denims because they're anti-American.
No, not the guy who gets accused of sexual abuse doesn't like me. No. Oh, what am I gonna do? It's so terrible. Also, out of all the things to dislike me for, really, being anti-American. Do you not see how I utilize my free speech? Okay. All right, excuse you, okay? There are a lot of better things to dislike me for. Pick one that's better. All right, please.
And they don't like soldiers, and they shit talk my dad. That's it. I have no political agenda at all. I don't give a fuck about politics. It's just when you shit talk my family, I don't like you. And that's pretty much it.
I didn't even shit talk his family. I said I don't immediately respect someone just because they were in the military. You being in the military doesn't mean jack shit. There's a lot of terrible people in the military, just like there are good people in the military. I judge you the same way I judge anyone else, based on your character. Your dad could have been the bravest, most epic soldier, or he could have been a fucking rapist. I don't fucking know your dad. I'm gonna judge him based on his character, not on the fact that he served. That doesn't mean shit to me that you served. How you served matters a lot more. And there are a lot of people, there are a lot of veterans that did have very honorable service. And I respect the fuck out of those people. And there's also a lot of people that did very heinous shit when they served, and I have nothing but contempt for those people. I'm sorry, the people who were torturing random brown kids or brown people, I don't have respect for those people. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't have respect for the people sending drone strikes on children. I don't have respect for those people. You fucking joking? No. I do respect the fuck out of, I don't know, people like Chelsea Manning, right? I do respect the fuck out of people who actually had service that helped people. Yes, the industrial complex, the military industrial complex is a shit show, and there's a lot of things that are wrong with it, but it doesn't mean that every single person that's in there is a terrible human being, right? There are a lot of people who served who had really amazing service that really tried their best to make it, to try and make the world better. And I have a lot of respect for those people. To see a system that is fucking broken, that so many people get to get away with so much dog shit and garbage, and you're trying your best to make that better from the inside, yeah, I have respect for you. If you're just trying to flatten out the Middle East, no, I don't fucking respect for you. I will thank you based on your service. That's like, also nobody is owed respect. Like, what a joke of a concept.
It is really that simple. It is really straightforward. What are your thoughts on Hassan, though? I think politically he's an idiot, but to be honest, I like talking to him about anime. That's it. That's my whole opinion.
Being the dumbest guy on the website and then saying you think Hassan is an idiot is so fucking funny.
I'll be real, man. I really don't think about the guy that much. I really don't care. I really don't care.
None of them were talking about it. It was all these dipshits who are hyping the shit out of it. You should have seen their Twitch titles. Like,
didn't Asmongold literally watch the content nuke? The Hassan content nuke? What are you talking about? I don't care about politics, but this politics is bad. He's a complete fucking moron. Yeah, Tecton calling anyone an idiot when he didn't know when World War II was. Wait, is that true? Stop. No, that's not true. That has to be fake. No, there's no way that he constantly talks about the fact that his dad is a vet and brings him on camera like a fucking trophy and he didn't know when World War II started. You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. That's too stupid. That's too dumb. No. I won't believe that without a clip. I'm sorry. That's another level of dumb. I know that he's a moron, but there's no way he's that stupid. Come on. That has to be someone else.
You think Klein Nuke has dropped? All capitals. Let's fuck what? Like, bro, I couldn't have asked for better promotion. You know what I mean? So thank you to them. And thank you for coming and disliking. And even though you guys were so desperate to try to spin the narrative in the beginning,
my dumb ass thinking this was an airplane about to hit the tower. Man, I'm f***ed up, bro.
Even now, the dislike ratio is like...
Straight up, like, okay, World War II was what, 1876?
Try again.
No, it's a comedy podcast. It's a comedy podcast. He's just pretending to be a fucking moron.
1865.
Wait,
that
World War II?
That was the Civil War.
Yeah.
You said
1876?
1876, yeah.
Yeah, so when do you think it started?
Wasn't it like 1900s?
Well, guess a number.
1900. That's 100 years.
Yeah, but you said 1800s. I was just shocked by that.
No. Now Emmy's trying to farm and make Tecton look stupid. Emmy, what year did it start?
The fucking 40s or something.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I was just shocked you said 1800s.
When was it? Well, it began in 1939.
I was almost there.
Okay. Right. However,
Why did he say, oh, okay, like he was close? Why did he...
Is this Asmongold outside of his home?
1937. Oh, okay, I was basically right there. I was only like 40, 50, 60 years off. I was just like in the wrong century. It was all good. It was right there. 1876. I can't believe... This is why I don't want you to respect Tecton. Oh my god. This is the guy who parades his dad around like a fucking amazing service worker. Like, look at all of the amazing things he's done. And he doesn't even know the world wars. There's only 2 of them. Oh my god. World War II is one of the main topics of video games. I knew this shit when I was 9. How can you be this dumb? I always hated history class, and even I could tell you that. Like, oh my, everyone should know, even if you don't know the exact year, which I was always bad with learning the exact years, you should at least be at Emmy's level. Unlike, yeah, like mid-1900s, around mid-1900s. That sounds right. That's pretty close. You have a good idea of like what type of weapons were used, who was involved, what countries were involved, when certain countries were founded. So like 1876 doesn't make fucking sense. Like, literally the weapons didn't exist that were used in World War II. Like, it literally, hello, are we here in this plane of existence? Like, oh my Yes, I have no words, dude. I have no words. 1876, Poland wasn't on the map. It wasn't a country. I think that sounds right. So Germany didn't exist until 1871. Like, the biggest tell should be, okay, well, World War II, which countries, what tech was used, how did the war end? You should know those things. And then after that, you can give a pretty good guess, I feel like. Whatever.
December 7th, 1941, that was Pearl Harbor. So she would be correct that she was talking about the United States.
Where was Pearl Harbor at?
Hawaii.
I always thought it was Japan. This was a big issue I had. I found out that it was not in Japan.
He thinks Japan attacked.
It was Japan who did it, bro. Wow. Oh, wow.
Involved. This is the guy who calls me anti-American, the guy who doesn't know anything about America.
What the fuck's going on out there? Tighten up your spine.
I think you might not understand much about politics. Can you imagine being this guy and thinking you can have an opinion to talk about politics? I don't even think I could smoke a dump truck full of weed and sound that fucking stupid. The tech tone is actually unironically everything that's wrong with America. It's the type of American to be like, you gotta respect the troops no matter what. You gotta respect them no matter what. No, I don't know anything about history. I don't know anything. Like, that's actually one of the biggest problems with the industrial complex, the military industrial complex in the United States. We don't have good enough standards that we hold, or like stringent enough standards that we hold like military personnel to, which is why most countries fucking hate us. Because we just give this blatant love and respect to anyone who serves, period. Even though a lot of people who serve, a good handful of people who serve are pieces of shit. And there's a lot of people that serve that are not pieces of shit. And maybe we should make the military into a place where only, I don't know, people with empathy are in it. So we're not just going around everywhere committing war crimes on, at the very least, a micro level. Can we stop the micro level of war crimes, maybe? Oh. Same with Americans in religion. Say Jesus and you have to love it. Say soldier, you have to suck them off. Yeah. Yeah. It's also so pathetic, too, because I've only spoken on my stream billions of fucking times about how the way that we treat military vets is pathetic. The fact that there are so many military veterans that are just, they're left with either PTSD or physical ailments or disabilities, and the government just kind of throws them away and we don't do anything about it. And then I try and push and like educate on or explain why we need better Medicare, for example, or better Medicaid, for example. Why we need better Social Security funding, why we need to raise the cap on these things. Like, these are things that are all gonna help military vets. Empathy is exactly what they are not looking for in soldiers, though. Well, yeah, because they want to be able to commit as many war crimes as they want, and they don't want people to whistleblow. But unfortunately, like, again, another thing is like, this is like the equivalent of choosing to not work out, because if you don't work out, if you work out, it shows that you hate yourself because you're trying to change yourself. But that's not how you should view things. Things that I don't like, I kind of just like throw off to the side and stop caring about them. Things that I care about, I want to make them better. I work out because I want to have the best health that I can have. And I want to improve myself as much as I can to my standards, right? It's the same thing in the US. I think we're a country that has a lot of potential and we just blow it all on fucking war and billionaires. Me criticizing America, I promise you, if I didn't like America, I just wouldn't care. It's because I care about the country that I want it to be better. At the very least, I care about the people in the country. Also, I don't think there's anything more American than being American and hating America. That's also true. That's also true. I mean, like, we're pretty big free speech on... Free speech isn't so that you can glaze the people that are in power. Free speech is so that you can say whatever you want, as negative as it is. That's the point of free speech. It's one of the most American things that you can do. Our history classes are a bad joke, at least the ones I had were. I learned more about global history from games than I did from grade school. I mean, I took a lot of AP classes, and I just didn't really like history classes, the thing. It took me taking art history to start liking history. Because it just felt like I felt the way that I do, or I think a lot of other kids feel about math, where I remember taking these history classes and being like, I don't fucking need this information. What am I going to do with this information? And I was always pissed that we didn't learn a lot about, like, current political history, current government. I was always pissed that we had to learn all this stupid, like, oh my God, all of the different battles that you had to learn about the Civil War. That was so tedious and dumb. Like, it was just so infuriating. I hated it. I hated it so much as a kid. I was like, this is so dumb. Why can't I learn about, like, what fucking Bush is doing or whatever? I don't remember who was in president. Get over
learn history,
I was sad that I couldn't learn current events.
Something with it.
So I didn't care that much. And we didn't learn about like the concepts of why certain things happened. We just learned like you just had to memorize. And then this was the battle of blah, blah, blah. And it happened in this year. And this was the commander. And then this is who won. And I thought it was so dumb. I was like, this is useless. I don't want to regurgitate these facts to you. But then taking art history, I learned that there are like patterns and there are things that will always happen and that you can learn from these things, which is what history class didn't teach me. My AP Gov class was fun. I just, I didn't like the fact that there was no critical thinking in a lot of my history classes growing up. It was just here, memorize these facts for this shit you're never going to need. Instead of, hey, so here are the material conditions that caused this. Here's why these people chose to do this. Blah, 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 blah. And that's the more interesting stuff, right? That's way more interesting than a lot of the shit that they teach you in grade school. History classes need to focus on actually understanding history instead of just reciting it. Yeah, and this is the same reason that kids hate math class. Like, I loved math, even though I didn't know how I could possibly use it or how math could be used. I loved math classes growing up. But a lot of kids hated it because they were like, I'm not going to need this. I'm not going to need this. Do you like German expressionism? I mean, it's hard for me to find art that I don't like. So yes, the answer is yes. You have philosophy classes in the US? I mean, I minored in it in college, but no, I didn't take any philosophy classes in high school. It's weird. High schools across the country are very different because I knew kids who took philosophy classes. I knew kids who took like economics classes, and I didn't take those in high school.
Secondary education in the United States is a scam. So you're rich and live all education dollars. That's why Chicago, one of the biggest cities in the world. So people go to public education or poor.
Because of standardized testing? I mean, it's more because the teachers are underpaid and overworked. Because good teachers I had, they made the classes fun and they showed why it was valuable to know that stuff, even if it wasn't in the curriculum, right? Because they wanted us to enjoy the topic. And that's how I felt about math. Math was cool because it was like its own language and you could learn the language and operate within that language. And that was really fucking cool to me as a kid. And I loved that, like, I remember hating English classes and hating that there could be more than one correct answer. And that shit used to piss me. Like, my brain, my 117 brain hated that. I loved that math, there was only one right answer. I was like, it can only be one, okay? It can only be one. But a lot of kids never liked math because they just had bad math teacher after bad math teacher, and they were like, I'm never gonna need this. Like, I'm literally never gonna need this in my life. And that's why you have people that can't do simple math. Like, have you guys seen, I'm convincing myself that it's fake, okay? But the people who reply with the wrong answer on those like social media posts, and it's just, the rule is just PEMDAS, and you're like, this is fake. This is like, there's no way. Come on, guys. We all learn this. we know. Multiplication, addition, subtraction. Come on. If you would just get up and teach them instead of...
In June with my parents and all the kids. It's going to be such a great trip.
All right. There was another Ethan Klein video that I wanted to watch with you guys.
I love you, Vadim. Hey, it's Vadim. If you watch this, you're like the best, and I'm glad that you're taking a correct stance on this. You're awesome. Vadim, I think you and I we're like this, bro. Vadim, if you ever see this, I want to be your bestie. If you ever come to Chicago, you ain't got to spend a dime. Stand. Got you, baby.
On to the next questionable segment. Ethan, quote, not Zionist Klein, talking about how free the apartheid state of Israel feels before he calls me a liar. I wish I was lying. Let's see what this is.
We're planning to go to Israel in June with my parents and all the kids. It's going to be such a great trip. And I'm actually really excited to go there. I want to show you guys.
You haven't been there in so long.
It's been a long fucking time. What I want to do is show you guys how I see Israel, because you don't see that. When you listen to Hassan and you hear all these fucking mega lefties talking about it like it's some super racist, like crazy, like Jim Crow style of society. Like, I can't wait to show you guys how beautiful, how multicultural, how like free it feels for people, or just...
I mean, I'm sure it feels very free for the Israelis who live there.
It's a beautiful place, it is. It's one of the most diverse places I've ever been.
I'm sure if you're Israeli, you feel really free, but I think that the people that are stuck behind gates feel a little bit less free. And if you think I'm being hyperbolic, corridors, checkpoints, and different highways aren't Jim Crow-esque at all. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, this looks free to me. Yeah. There was recently a story I saw about this guy who he has like a gate basically in front of his front door, and he literally couldn't. He was trying to get to the fucking hospital because he was having, I think, like a heart attack or something. Like people failing to receive medical aid because they have to pass through checkpoints to leave their house. Residents of Palestinian village Beit Ishza, west of Jerusalem, dismantled the Israeli electronic gates surrounding the Gharib's family's home, which encircled by Israeli settlements, to evacuate an elderly sick woman for medical treatment. Yeah, I'm sure these people feel really free. I'm sure having to break down a fucking gate so you can receive medical treatment, that's good, right? The replies on that tweet have like an aerial view of the house. I'll scroll down in a second. I don't think people, this is the reply. I don't think people understand what's happening in this video. The blue is the caged home. The red is the stolen land with Israeli settlements on it. Yeah, I'm sure the people who live there feel really free. Yeah, no shit. When you're coming from the perspective of the settlers, yeah, it feels pretty good when you get to just oppress whatever amount of people you want to so you can have your beautiful land that you can put your resorts on or whatever. Yeah, then it is pretty nice, isn't it? Yeah, it's very sad and pathetic. That's not Israel, no, that's West Bank. There are only terrorists there, Denims. You forgot. He specifically told you he'd show you Israel. Sorry, you're right. My bad. You're right. What's this? Even Ethan Klein's new right-wing friend, Steiny, thinks he's a clown. Bro's lost it.
Wait, so this is...
What's this reply? You know the crew got chewed out for laughing?
Just a random guy, though. Like, you respond to random trolls all the time, right?
Not so much random.
You don't ever feel like a nerd or doing that? I don't know. I kind of do want to roast you right now, but like, today is embarrassing.
You can.
Like, you just sit on the shitter and you just go through DMs of people saying they don't fuck with you and you respond to them.
That's the thing. You don't understand what I'm doing.
It's more than that.
No, it's posts on Twitter. But he also goes through his DMs. Oh, I missed it. Can we play it again? Okay, he has a guest on, one of the Nelk boys, that basically makes fun of him for his crash out postings on Twitter. I mean, on his Instagram story.
Wait, so this is just a random guy, though? Like, you respond to random trolls all the time, right?
Not so much random.
You don't ever feel like a nerd or doing that? I don't know. I kind of do want to roast you right now, but like, today is embarrassing.
You can.
Like, you just sit on the shitter and you just go through DMs of people saying they don't fuck with you and you respond to them.
That's the thing. You don't understand what I'm doing.
It's more than that.
Wait, so this is just a random...
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Guy,
wait, he blames Hassan for not voting for Kamala, and he has a Nelk boy who endorsed Trump. You just don't get it. You just don't get it. This clip is so good, dude. Dude, you know he like beat the shit out of like his fucking drywall when he got home. What are we? He's fucking anti-Semites. Damn him. We can never bring him back on again. Why didn't anyone warn me that he hates Israelis? He hates Israelis. He hates them so much. That's why he made fun of me. That's why he made fun of me. That's why he did it. Oh, no. Oh, God. Yeah, man, this is sad for him. The real question is, how is this Hassan's fault? I know it's his fault, but how? Nelk Boys endorsed Trump and are very pro-Israel. They had an Israeli flag holiday sweater merch that tracks. Anyways. Yeah, I wonder why people say that he plays defense for Israel. I wonder why people accuse him of being a genocide state defender when he can look at all the terrible shit that Israel's done and be like, yeah, me and the kids are gonna go on vacation. Man. Y'all see the Reddit copyright strike yet? Is there more? I thought it was just like the usual shit that he's been doing. I thought he basically claimed that he's going to sue them and all this other shit, which is like, oh man. He took down the pinned post on FOMA. Oh man. Wait, he hit them with the copyright. Joel, thank you for the gifts. No, stop. Let me fact check this really quickly. Wait. Removed by Reddit on account of violating the content policies because he wants to subpoena the subreddit moderators. Update. Further threats have been issued by Ethan Klein via his Instagram account. Again, we have no idea what this network he is alluding to is about. We have also started receiving a barrage of just vague enough ominous mod mails threatening consequences from accounts with no other comments on this sub and or Reddit. This is the fair use guy, man. Chad, this is why I don't spend my free time like looking myself up. It's just a waste of your energy, and eventually you become Ethan Klein. So what happened? Basically, a lot of other people and a lot of other subreddits have recognized that like Ethan Klein is going insane. Again, mostly because he keeps pissing off people who don't make sense to piss off, like shitting on Markiplier, shitting on Philip DeFranco, shitting on all these people. Like, he's just targeting a bunch of these people, and obviously these people have fans, so they immediately become off-put by Ethan Klein. Like, imagine you're a Markiplier fan, you're a huge Markiplier fan, you love his content, he's a great guy, nobody really has an issue with Markiplier. And then you just see Ethan Klein saying all this terrible shit about your favorite guy, your favorite YouTuber. You're gonna not like that guy anymore. You're gonna be like, what the fuck? Didn't this guy used to do vape nace or something? Ew, I didn't know. What the fuck is wrong with him? This is weird. Okay, whatever. I don't care about this guy anymore. Eventually, one of those people will post about it in a subreddit and be like, yeah, this guy's being weird, and he's doing this, and he's doing this, and now he's accusing all of us because we don't like the guy because he's a weirdo, that we must be collaborating with each other to harass him. And harassment in this case is saying, I didn't like that he did this. I didn't like that he said this. And he's noticed a bunch of, I guess he searches himself on Reddit. He noticed a bunch of different Reddits that had posted about him. And the accounts that are posting about him are like, it's not the same person. A clip of you talking about Ethan Klein hating on Markiplier on YouTube has 50K views. Really? I don't even know which clip this is. It's not an absurd notion. It's like, why are you hating Markiplier? Nobody dislikes Markiplier. Or at the very least, no one's stupid enough to dislike him publicly. The guy he has so much internet goodwill. You're a fucking moron. First of all, I don't know what you would dislike about him. I genuinely don't. I don't know what I genuinely don't know what you would even dislike about him. Second, let's just say that you do, whatever, you have your reasons. Maybe, you know, you asked to take a picture with him at a grocery store and he's like, and you said, sorry, I don't want to bother you. He's like, look, you're doing right now? Maybe that happened to you with him. Maybe that happened to you with him. I don't know, okay? Why would you ever talk about this publicly? It's just a guaranteed way to make sure that everyone knows that you're a weirdo, right? I hate Markiplier, but that's because he won't be my friend. That's a fair reason. That's good. That's a fair reason. My cousin actually did get a pic with him at a grocery store. Wait, that's dope. So anyways, all of these people in different subreddits that have been put off by Ethan Klein for various reasons. He's done a bunch of off-putting things over the years. Posted separately about him and said like, yeah, he seems to have gone off the deep end. And this is like the drama subreddit. This is, I mean, they describe themselves as the Reddit gossiping sub. So they're doing a little bit of light gossiping. That's what all the posts are on here. There's a little bit of light gossiping. There's no harm done. It's just people being like, this guy's crazy. And, you know, maybe if I'm lucky, they'll put me in there one day. I will be gossiped about. Really, it's not a big deal. But I guess he is threatening to sue all these people, and he's threatening to subpoena all these people because he's convinced himself that it's a giant conspiracy against him, which is why he did this stream, unmasking the harassment. Okay, fine. I will watch it.
Hey, this is your host, Steve.
You guys got me. Just a taste, all right? I think it was just this thing.
Them completely coincidentally, this
wouldn't talk with these people.
This website Pirate Wares, which is apparently a like an ultra conservative rag. So unfortunately, it makes the article extremely easy for people to like Hassan to discard, which he's already done. He goes, oh, you believe anything on that website? The problem is if you actually read the article, it's very well sourced and backed up and everything's supported. And like, if you actually would interface with the evidence.
Wait, no, this is not. No, it is not.
Instead of the reporter, you could actually have a real conversation about it. About why are your... So anyway, in this article, they're talking about the terrorist propaganda to Reddit pipeline, how ultra-leftist networks hijack some of the biggest non-political subreddits to censor its ideological enemies and distribute terrorist propaganda. That sounds exactly like what we've been talking about. And as you get into it...
The article literally referenced the Anon Pod subreddit.
Network coordinates across Reddit, Discord, X, Instagram, Quora, Wikipedia, and manipulates search engines and AI models like ChatGPT to spread its message, a practice known as data poisoning. The network systemically launders propaganda from U.S.-designated terrorist organizations, including Hamas, Hezbollah, and Palestine Islamic Jihad. Key subreddits infiltrated by the network include documentaries, public freakout. There was an attempt. This is another crossover subreddit that always posts, that is posting about it sometimes. I mean, it's hard to just...
The author of the article, LOL, Rinsberg is an American who was born in South Africa. In the mid-2000s, he moved to Tel Aviv in Israel. This is literally from a Peter Thiel outlet. The rare double apartheid.
Pigeonhole us in that one. How do you even fucking fit us in that one? But they found a way. They are misleading millions into believing its content is organic. Through coordinated vote brigading, subreddit moderation, and content manipulation, the network influences public perception while evading platform moderation and legal consequences. Reddit's trust and safety team has reportedly warned about the network's activities, but has failed to act. And again, I had the same experience, allowing the terror link propaganda to proliferate. I have had the same experience trying to tell Reddit, like, what the fuck are you doing? You know? But
we tried, by the way, so many times.
Well, the really weird thing is when I first reached out to somebody, they erased it. They're like,
I can't believe the idea that a bunch of people would dislike you because they don't like you is just too absurd of a notion to even climb. Like, I don't understand, like, how much brain damage you have to not understand that some people are just not going to like you. You could be the sweetest peach and there's still going to be someone that doesn't like peaches, man. I could be correct every single stream about every single thing I talk about, and there's still going to be people that are like, you smell weird, and I don't like that. I don't like your voice. I don't like that you play video games. I don't like the characters you play. Like, people will always find something to dislike about you, and there will always be people who dislike you. You just have to move on and grow up and realize that's okay. I don't need everyone to like me. To assume that everyone who dislikes you has to be in on some cabal is crazy. Whoa, Mike. Whoa, I do not smell. No, I don't smell. Stop.
Trash. And then the next day, magically, it was reinstated, and they had a great ongoing relationship with the moderators. Or the
Adams, are you trans? Sure, why not? Yeah, let's go with that.
admin.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Where's the one where it lists the secret?
After all, why shouldn't I be?
Well, the ones like foam. Right there. Oh, yeah, here. These include other subreddits, documentaries, there was an attempt, public freakout, faux moi.
What the hell? Sure, why not? You had that meme.
Which is the one currently that's posting us the most. This one, which is about like mainstream celebrity gossip, has somehow found it relevant to post about us every fucking day.
Yeah. Makes no sense.
It's not related. I am a total piece of shit too.
Public freakout. So random.
So weird that Ethan Klein, the guy who's been crashing out for 4 months, would be in public freakout. That's so weird.
So there's a mod crossover between.
I actually don't know if he's in public freakout or not, but
yeah, here let's see. I recommend reading the whole thing. It's quite well sourced.
Well
and,
sourced.
If you want to.
So I think it's pretty well known that Asmongold is not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed. In fact, I would go quite a bit further than that, and I would say that I don't really understand how he dresses himself in the morning. Maybe he just doesn't, to be honest. He doesn't exactly have a reputation for doing basic, everyday sort of things that human beings do. So I think it would be a bit much to say that he has like a coherent fascist ideology or something like that. I don't think he really operates on a level where he has an ideology. I think he sort of operates sort of like an insect would, like just reacting to sensory stimuli, though he does so in a much more sloffish way than the average insect does. And now he has gone on record claiming that the Nazis burned books about like sort of non-straight, non-heteronormative sexual identities and stuff like that. Not because they were against that stuff. You know, the Nazis, according to him, were not anti-gay, they were not anti-trans, blah, blah, blah. They were just anti-Jewish, and they were anti-Jewish, according to him, because they were defending Germany from foreigners. Yeah, I know exactly how that sounds. I know what that implies. I know it's incorrect. But I'm just summarizing you what he said, and I'm going to play the clip where he says that right now.
Workers, trans. It's a bit of a miss. Like, my understanding is that they burned them not because it was gender stuff, but because it was written. Workers, trans. It's a bit of a miss. Like, my understanding is that they burned them not because it was gender stuff, but because it was written in Jewish and not German. And it was like a retaking.
Jewish isn't a language. Religion. You speak Christian? Called Hebrew. You dumb bitch.
Of Germany for.
I mean, how can I hate capitalism. I'm done with capitalism. I've hated it for a long time, but I'm like extra done with it because it's not a meritocracy. You can have the brain of someone who like got in a motorcycle wreck and bashed their head on the concrete. You can have that kind of functioning brain and be rich. And when you're rich, you can spout your opinion no matter how uninformed it is. No matter it's just coming from this confidence. I can't play Protocol for a third time. Fuck off. Holy fucking shit. God. Yeah, people like Asmongold and and Activision, who makes this game and wants me to play the same map over and over again. I hate rich people. All your rich people can fucking kill each other, fuck your mother's assholes, choke on her shit, take all your money, and fuck yourself to death with it. All of your rich people can die horribly. Alone, scared, cold. All of you, the rich, deserve the worst. Give up your money or be destroyed. That's my take. Cunts like Asmongold should be hung upside down, have his bank accounts emptied out, handed over to this party. He should be with noodles bloody. If it takes a decade.
For Germans, that was like the uprising of the Nazis. So it was like, yeah, they were. I think it probably.
I love it when people know nothing about history talk about history. They like saw like a History Channel documentary or movie or something. Saw Indiana Jones, like, and think that they know about World War II. Hate rich people, especially assholes like this. All you do is play video games, bro. Nothing against video games. But what do you get your degree in, Asmongold? Check. What is Asmongold's education? Oh, he has a business degree. And he worked for the IRS. But had to give up his plans to attend law school to care for his mother. Oh, I get that. Pretty relatable. Yeah, but how did you get to the... I mean, if you come from a working class background, then you whatever, dude. Keep floating through life. Keep bouncing off walls mindlessly. Because that's obviously what you're doing.
It might be both in some circumstances, but like it was categorical for it not being written in German.
I don't believe
they
that.
also burned porn. Yeah, they burned a lot of stuff. It was both, yeah. And no, a lot. And I wish people like this. It's disappointing that you can't have genuine conversations because people try to just like kind of, like handpick facts and like not talk about things in an honest way. But it's like part of that's true, but it's like not completely true.
That is crazy. He's just making this shit up as he goes along, and he has the goal to claim that someone else is getting their facts wrong. And what the fuck did he say there? Like, it was written in Jewish? It was written in Jewish? What the fuck does that mean? Jewish isn't a language. It was written in Jewish. And then he like goes on to sort of like tacitly, I mean, he certainly doesn't announce it, but he like tacitly approves of like Nazis apparently like getting rid of things supposedly written in Jewish to protect their German identity or whatever, as if Jews couldn't be German, which, you know, is specifically a Nazi narrative in of itself. Very weird sort of framing.
And I'm pretty sure Jewish Germans wrote in German.
There, but like, what does that even mean? Not written in Jewish? So according to him, there was like studies written on like gay people, trans people.
Maybe in Yiddish. Still not Jewish. I bet you Asmongold doesn't even know what Yiddish means.
or whatever, but the Nazis didn't have a problem with that aspect. Their problem was with the fact, according to him, that these studies were, and these books and stuff like that, they were written in Jewish. They were written in Jewish. I mean, that sounds like a bizarre conspiracy in and of itself. Like these gender ideologues and these damn gay people doing research on their identities, and all of them are writing their books in Jewish. That in of itself is like a ridiculous anti-Semitic conspiracy narrative. Though I doubt Asmongold is smart enough to even realize that he's doing that there. Like, they had all of this research into these dastardly, evil, alternative, non-heteronormative sex stuff, and they were doing it all in the Jewish language. Now, I mean, it won't exactly surprise you to find out that what he's referring to here is regarding this German research institute that was called the Institute for Sexual Science, which was this sort of like pioneering research institute into like sexuality in general, that also researched stuff like gay people, trans identities and stuff like that. Their institute was very much specifically targeted. Its research was certainly not written in Jewish, like whatever the fuck that means. Obviously, it was mostly, if not all, in German. You can see here, for example, Wikipedia, just one of the examples that they give is this picture of one of the books that one of their founders had written. It's very much in German. So Asmongold appears to just be making this whole thing up. I mean, obviously he is Jewish, language isn't a thing. And this raid, destruction, and the book burnings of this institute were then followed up with just complete mass persecution of gay people, trans people, and, you know, those sorts of people all throughout Germany. They were obviously incredibly anti-LGBT. This does not really need to be elaborated on. It's a simple fact. The Nazis even had, for example, a pink triangle, which they put on concentration camp inmates who were there because they were gay or trans. So it's honestly bizarre, his claims here. It is just out there as fuck. Like, I don't even know how to address this. It is that weird. There's so many layers to this that are just completely wrong. Like, they persecuted LGBT literature not because it was LGBT literature. You know, they persecuted LGBT people not because they were LGBT, but because they spoke Jewish. That was it. I mean, I don't doubt that the Nazis tried to associate like spreading of the evil gayness and stuff like that with Jewish people, as white nationalists and neo-Nazis still do today. They love to do that. But, you know, that's just because they claim that every single thing they perceive as bad in the entire world is a part of some Jewish conspiracy. Obviously, they were incredibly anti-LGBT, and they did not simply burn these books because they were written in Jewish. Because, you know, they factually weren't written in Jewish, and the Jewish language doesn't exist, and they did indeed specifically target LGBT people for being LGBT. They did indeed specifically target LGBT literature, research into LGBT identities, whatever, specifically for that fact alone. And then he goes on to say, like, they'll play that part again, where he's like...
It's like a retaking of Germany for Germans. That was like the uprising of the Nazis.
A retaking of Germany for Germans. He just says that. Like, he doesn't see it as a bad thing. He doesn't seem to have a particular opinion on it. He's just like, this is factually what they did. And you know, from what I saw of people who screenshotted his chat here, they were all like, based, win for the Nazis. Good job, Nazis. Yeah, so what is there to really say about this? You know, this is like actual, like, bona fide, obvious anti-Semitism, and the people who like to denounce anti-Semitism on Twitch, they sure aren't denouncing this, are they? Because at the end of the day, Asmongold is on their side, and it's not about being against anti-Semitism for them. It's about framing being pro-Palestinian as being anti-Semitic because they want to support Israel in all of its glory. As Asmongold himself very much did when he called for the genocide of all Palestinians just a couple of months ago. So ultimately, it's okay to just spout this ridiculous Nazi shit like, no, guys, the Nazis were tolerant of LGBT identities. They just targeted the people researching them because they were writing in Jewish. It's fine for them to say something like that as long as you support Israeli genocide, as Asmongold does. So yeah, what else is there to say?
Do it now. If not, get to work. Mission shit, I'm pulling the plug. Time to fade.
Don't sweat it.
All right, so we have this wild story about Elon Musk that feels like an episode of Jerry Springer, but it involves the richest man in the world and a gold digger e-girl he knocked up because his breeding fetish is out of control. And now the girl's pissed at him because he's not giving her enough attention and he ghosted her on Valentine's Day. So they started trying to expose each other on Twitter. That's what's going on here. It's hilarious. So this all started when this right-wing Twitter influencer, grifter, Ashley St. Clair, announced she had a kid with Elon around 5 months ago, which apparently quite a few people already knew about because I think she's probably bragging about it in private. So there are rumors of it, even though Elon wanted to keep it a secret. But also some people knew just based on her being promoted a lot on Twitter and Elon responding to her tweets all the time. And one time he even made a joke to her about how he doesn't like to pull out. I swear this guy is just unbelievable. Ashley posted a headline to an article that said, Wagner chief says his forces will pull back. And Elon responded to her and said, the pull-out method. And then he responded again an hour later and said, speaking personally, I prefer the pull-in method. So basically Elon publicly is like, hey, I'll give you a kid if you want. And then a couple months later, she announced she's off birth control. And then the next month she was pregnant. So for an e-girl grifter, she basically hit the lottery. But she had been planning this for years, apparently. Like in 2020, she said, I need to get Elon Musk's attention for a marriage proposal. And someone responded and said, he's got a kid with a woman already, seems unlikely to work out. And then she said, well, actually, he has 7 already, and he goes through women pretty fast, which is crazy. You know, she's basically like, I got a chance. He has a lot of kids, and he's always dating somebody new. And she's right, and somehow she made it happen. Like, not the marriage, but she at least got pregnant, which she still secured the bag. You know, she's still going to be set for life from this. But apparently it's not enough for her because now she's upset that Elon won't give her enough attention, you know, because this is like his 13th kid with 4 different women. And that's what we know of. You know, he's hiding this one, so I'd imagine he has way more than 13. So obviously he's not going to be spending that much time with Ashley. You know, Elon's busy tweeting all day, playing video games, doing ketamine, and dealing with all his other kids and baby mamas and all that legal shit. I mean, if he wasn't rich, everybody would be like, all right, this guy's the biggest loser of all time. Like, the only reason this can pass and people will defend it is because he can financially provide for the kids. But I guess for Ashley, that's not enough. You know, she was expecting more from him. So she started to get pissed because he wasn't responding to her and he ghosted her on Valentine's Day. You know, she's probably expecting him to take her out to eat or something. But instead, he's with his current girlfriend who he has multiple kids with, and he's at the White House with her. So she put out this message where she said, 5 months ago, I welcomed a new baby into the world. Elon Musk is the father. I have not previously disclosed this to protect our child's privacy and safety, but in recent days, it has become clear that the tabloid media intends to do so, regardless of the harm it'll cause. I intend to allow our child to grow in a normal and safe environment. For that reason, I ask that the media honor our child's privacy and refrain from invasive reporting. So she basically claims here that she needs to tell the world that she has a kid with Elon because the media was planning on doing it and it's going to cause harm to the child, so she decided to instead. But I think anybody with more than half a brain cell could put the pieces together here and be like, let's see, it's Valentine's Day. This girl is sitting at home taking care of her and Elon's baby, and he's out with his current girlfriend at the White House. So, of course, she's going to be pissed about it and jealous. You know, I think most people could figure that out, except for some of these prominent Christian conservative influencers that just turned into absolute simps. It's crazy. They all bought her bullshit and are like, oh, I'm so sorry the media is doing this to you, and congratulations, this is amazing, and all that crap, which is just hilarious. I mean, this is basically a gold digger announcing she hit the lottery, and the reason she's exposing this, and in her words, potentially harming the kid, is because she wants attention. But some really popular right-wing influencers in the comments completely bought this girl's bullshit. Like Candace Owens, she said, children should always be off limits. Journalists are parasites. Hard to imagine what you're going through with this young one. Better to come out with this on your own terms. George and I will be praying for you. And then also Elijah Schaefer, he said, may the dishonest media get effed and stop harassing you. Terribly you have to deal with this. Hoping you can raise this baby away from nasty journalists. And Mike Cernovich, he said, sorry you had to deal with this bullshit. There's no low they won't go. And Ashley responded and said, doxing a baby is pretty bottom of the barrel. So she's acting like the media was planning on releasing her baby's address and like his full name and everything. And even if that's the case, which it's obviously not, Why would this stop them? You know, why would her coming out with this stop them at all? And then also, if she's so nervous about this, I don't know why she would invite the media into her home to do a sit-down interview and photo shoot with her. It's just insane. Right after she announced that she had this kid and she wants the media to not report on it and she wants to keep it all private, she has the New York Post come to this $15,000 a month apartment that Elon's paying for to do an interview with her, where she obviously talked about the baby and Elon and everything. So she must love the attention she's getting from this. And she clearly was starting to get annoyed with Elon and the fact that she had to keep this a secret, you know, and she probably wanted him to be more involved. Like she said, I was completely isolated during my pregnancy. Every part of my career and everything I used to do, I couldn't do anymore. I was told not to tell anybody. And she also said Elon declined to put his name on the birth certificate. And she said, I cannot explain the kind of primary pain you feel as a mother, and you're talking to people and they ask you about the one kid and you have to lie and carry this burden in secret. You have to lie to people you love. So she makes it pretty clear that this is probably the reason why she announced she had a kid with Elon, you know, not because the mainstream media was about to come out with it, but because she wants to get attention and she wants to tell the world that she had Elon's kid. So those comments I read earlier have aged so badly. I mean, I don't know how they couldn't see that this is what she's doing. It was pretty obvious. Like even pretty much all their fans knew it. Almost every comment on their comments is like, wait, why are you celebrating this? Like what the hell's going on here? This girl's just an attention-seeking gold digger who obviously doesn't care that much about the privacy of her kid if she's announcing this and using her kid to try to get attention. And it's so funny, that guy Elijah Schaefer, he's been trying to cope over defending her because he got a lot of backlash from it. So he's like, listen, I know she's a typical feminist vulture, but at least she didn't abort her kid. Like that's his takeaway here. He thinks it's brave that a money-hungry feminist had a kid with the richest man alive and now has a $15,000 a month apartment and is pretty much set for life. I mean, does he not understand that this kid's her golden ticket? Like, why would she have an abortion? So these people didn't know how to respond to this whole debacle. And I definitely didn't think Elon was going to. You know, I figured he would just let this blow over. Like, obviously, he didn't want this info out there. This is just embarrassing for him, but I guess it seems like he must have been upset that she leaked it. So he decided to comment on that tweet that I read at the beginning.
Call of Duty. You make me play this again, I'm quitting.
Where she said she wanted to marry him. Miley Yiannopoulos, he reposted that when all this info came out, and Elon commented on it and said, whoa. So now he's publicly trying to embarrass her, you know, because obviously this tweet makes it look like she's a stalker or something, and Elon's just finding out about it. So it's crazy. He's pretty much taking a shot at the mother of his kid.
You know, I'm just going to play the goddamn
which just made things so much worse, and she deleted it right away because she probably realized that, and she probably got a call from Elon's lawyer, and they're like, hey, if you want to keep that apartment, you better shut the hell up. So she said, Elon, we've been trying to communicate with you for the past several days and you have not responded, which her saying something like this, again, just supports the theory even more that she made this announcement because Elon was ghosting her. Like she's making it so obvious now. So she continued on and said, when are you going to reply to us instead of publicly responding to smears from an individual who just posted photos of me in my underwear at 15 years old? So this is just completely out of control. I mean, apparently also Milo was posting pictures of her, like underage pictures or something, and he was suspended from Twitter for a week. But still, Elon decided to respond to his tweet. And Ashley also claims that Elon knew about this tweet already and him and his team discussed it last month. And she said that Elon was just asking her to have more kids the last week, which if that's true, this dude needs to chill out. I mean, this is just insane. Like, how could anybody support this? And Ashley also said, I'd like to take this offline for our child's sake, which of course now she's saying this, you know, she's the one that made this public. She brought it online. She did an interview with the New York Post. And now when she starts getting shit, she's like, all right, let's take this offline. This is going too far. So this is just the trashiest shit ever. But I guess a bunch of conservatives are celebrating it for some reason. Like they spend so much time preaching about how important marriage is and traditional family values and two-parent households. But when Elon has his 13th kid that he'll probably barely spend any time with, and when it's out of wedlock and with his 4th different woman, they all act like he's a great parent. It makes no sense. And all these people just happen to conveniently ignore the fact that Elon, he also authorized one of his sons, who was a minor at the time, to start taking puberty blockers. Elon signed off on that. And all these people that would normally call that child abuse if it were anybody else, they all just ignore it and pretend like Elon's a great father and it's great that he's trying to repopulate Earth. So Elon has these people wrapped around his finger. Like the fact that they're celebrating him having a kid he'll never see and leaving this girl to be a single mom is just wild. And it's funny that they're supporting Ashley and defending her, but then Elon basically makes it public that him and Ashley aren't on good terms, and he takes a subtle shot at her, and now all those people who are supporting her are real quiet, you know, because I don't think you'll see them defending her from Elon at all, even though she's pretty much saying that Elon, he's not around that much, you know, he's not really being a good father, but of course, these people, they don't really care. So this was such a mess and so embarrassing for everybody involved. I mean, also, I don't know if Elon knew this before he had a kid with Ashley, but she used to go by Sex Laptop on Twitter and allegedly sold nudes to people or did cam modeling or something. And she had some pretty wild tweets. So if he knew about this stuff, that explains why he wanted to keep the kid a secret. You know, this looks really bad for him. I mean, this is almost like him knocking up an OF girl. Like, this girl clearly just slept her way to the top. But let me know what you guys think. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out my Patreon. I've been talking a lot about Elon on there and how Joe Rogan won't stop simping for him. It's like the cringiest shit ever. And there are also over 100 other exclusive videos on there. There's a lot of stuff to go through. So if you enjoyed the channel, make sure you check it out. I post every week. There'll be a link in the description.
All right, y'all, it's happening. It is happening. Everybody calm down. Everybody relax. Relax. It's happening. I'd like to think I have something to do with this. Put in the comment section below if you think I had something to do with this. I don't know if I'm tooting my own horn here too much. I don't know if I'm off the mark. But I like to think maybe I played a tiny role in this, okay? This is in the Daily Beast. Joe Rogan fans are done with his Elon Musk obsession. You know, for a long time, it's me and people like me, we thought we were taking the crazy pills. Right? That this, like the #1 podcast in the world and just been so dominant for so long. And it's like you listen to some of it and you're like, who the fuck is watching this, bro? Like, who's watching this? It's literally the jack off Elon Musk hour. Like, what are we doing here? But it caught up. It caught up with him. The popular podcast appears to have switched gears since the November polls. Joe Rogan fans are starting to hate how much he loves Elon Musk, the podcast juggernaut, shot to fame for lively discussions of largely non-political topics. But that seems to have changed since President Donald Trump won the election, thanks in part to podcast bros like Rogan. A Reddit community with 1.5 million subscribers dedicated to discussing all things Rogan has grown exasperated with the host constantly fawning over Musk, who he described as a super genius in a recent episode. Oh, that's not even half of the glazing, bro. That's just like a little tiny speck of the glazing that normally happens on this show. Rogan has mentioned Musk by name on all but 2 of the 14 episodes released since Trump's inauguration, according to Politico. The billionaire Doge chief has also appeared on the show 5 times. Quote, "The way he fawns over Elon is really off-putting," one Reddit comment reads. "It's literally hard to watch," another fan said. Joe and his anti-elite billionaire friends are becoming the swamp they've always hated. One comment called Rogan state-run propagandist media. The Joe Rogan experience was recently overtaken by the anti-Trump podcast Midas Touch. Okay, I'm going to give you more on that in a second, but let me see. Last time I read this article, I clicked on the thing. So there's a thing here about Elon and Doge. Okay. It's kind of scary how many people in this country genuinely believe that a person's financial success is a direct measure of their intelligence. Yes! Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Mr. Rando on Joe Rogan subreddit. That's exactly right. And this is one of the things that Rogan has fell for so long. This idea of we already live in a meritocracy. Right? Everything's already fair. Everything's already just. So if somebody becomes a billionaire, they're just a mega genius. They just work harder than everybody else. They're just smarter than everybody else. And that is, especially when it comes to Elon, that is immensely preposterous. Some of the hardest working people I've ever known in my life were working 2 or 3 jobs and barely at the poverty line, if that. And I remember in high school, sitting there watching my friend Kevin bust his ass and, you know, wasn't reaping the rewards. And I thought, wow, we've been sold such a massive lie, haven't we? Some of the hardest working people are living at the poverty line or under the poverty line. We have millions of literally working poor people in this country. They work a full-time job. They don't make enough money to survive. I mean, to not see the glaring issues with that. And look, for Elon Musk, one of the big things, like, how many red flags can there be before you wake up to some of them? Right? Like, for example, this is low-hanging fruit. But remember when he claimed to be like one of the best video game players in the world for a couple specific games? And then he like live streamed himself playing one of those games, and all of the pros in that gaming community said, bro, he literally has no idea what he's doing. Like, he's not even good at it. He's not even good. Never mind one of the best players in the world. And he had lied relentlessly about how he's one of the best in the world. In order to be one of the best in the world, you got to play all day, every day, and basically do nothing but that. Homie, you got more than 13 kids. You got 1,000 fucking businesses. You've illegally taken over the government. And we're supposed to believe, oh yeah, he's just one of the best. Like, he's trying to sell this myth of like, I'm the most intelligent person that's ever lived. And it's just, he's high in his own supply. He looks like a fucking idiot because he is. If he's willing to lie about that, you're the richest man in the world and you felt the need to lie about being one of the top video game players in the world for some specific games? If he feels the need to lie about that, he's lying about fucking everything, bro. He's lying about everything. He is #1 in PR and marketing. He's very Trumpian. That's what Trump did too. It's all about, he wants to try to make you believe in something bigger than yourself, right? And he wants to be that thing. Another comment, Joe, this guy laid off 10% of his workers to make sure he got a $56 billion bonus. You don't get $400 billion net worth without being wildly greedy. This goes on, bro. I actually got some fire memes from this subreddit. There was there's like a picture of somebody chugging water, and it says like, Elon Musk's piss is the water, and the woman drinking it, it says Joe Rogan. Oh, people are waking up to it, bro. People are waking up to it. I'm very happy people are waking up to it, because it really is humiliating. And the other thing, like, the way he religiously dodges any and all stories about how much of a fucking idiot and an asshole Elon Musk is, it's just, like, I know you've seen the stories. I know you've seen the story about Elon Musk illegally slashing NIH funding, which includes cancer research for kids. I know you saw that. I know you saw Elon bragging about destroying the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is the anti-scam police, and then in his replies, even a bunch of Elon supporters and MAGA supporters going, hold on, this is one of the good government agencies. This has nothing to do with waste, fraud, abuse. This agency got my money back to me when I was robbed by a bank. I know Rogan's seen it. I know he's seen it. I know when he saw the Nazi salute that he went, yeah, that kind of looks like, I know it. But then he gets in front of the public and he's like, bro, Elon, bro, he's like special, bro. Elon's like special. His little bit he does where he's like, oh, my little puny brain can't possibly compete with Elon Musk. Yes, Elon. Yes, where's the baby oil? I'll jack you off. Elon. I really leaned in hard on this one too, and I guess a lot of other people were as well. This, you know, like, it's humiliating just how much he sucks off robber barons now. Like, every other week, he's got on some robber baron who, like, has committed fraud 58 times and is, like, rigging the government to give themselves more tax cuts as they cut the social safety net. And he just has these conversations, but they lie to everybody. They lie to everybody's face, and you go, oh, wow, I didn't know that. This is Joe Rogan sitting there saying shit like that. Well, now, this is the first time I have ever seen this man, even in the tiniest way, slightly disagree with Elon. So you ready for this? One of the things Elon's been going around saying is, well, we have a lot of people in Social Security who are 150 years old, and they're getting checks. And then, like, every fact checker in the world, every expert in the world came out and said, that is 100% not true. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, right? And it had something to do with how they coded in the system. And there's even literally, like, it cuts off guaranteed for everybody over 115 years old anyway. Like, that's in there. It doesn't matter. He's lying. And he literally went on to say we can cut like 50% of Social Security and be okay. Oh, my God. It's the most popular government program in the country. It keeps your grandma out of poverty. The poverty rate before Social Security was 30% for old people. Now it's all the way down to 10% because of Social Security. So anyway, everybody and their mother, like, was like, Elon, you're fucking wrong. And they even had some government agency release a statement, say, oh, some people have said, and there's this false claim that's been reported about 150-year-olds. Turns out that's not true. That was their way of walking it back a little bit, right? And Trump even repeated the lie. Trump repeated that, which is mental. He was saying the same thing. Okay. Well, Joe on his show, listen to what he says. Ready?
Now they're talking about Social Security.
Yeah.
And that people are receiving Social Security that are 150 years old. But I don't think that is the reality as it's being explained by people who understand COBOL, the language and this computer programming language they use is ancient, right? Which is kind of crazy that they're still using that, right?
It's the government. I mean,
right?
Yeah.
So some guy who understands it was explaining that if certain factors aren't taken into consideration or certain things aren't entered in, you know, like date of birth or when there's certain things
or date of death, or,
right? But it doesn't even necessarily mean that all these people are receiving checks,
right? They're just listed on the files,
right?
And it doesn't mean money's going out to them. And so, yeah, again, from a messaging perspective, you know, does Elon need to, like, you know, screenshot that and then send it out as a tweet or whatever we call X nowadays, and then suddenly you've got, you know, a couple million people going, oh my God, we're paying dead people. Well,
right. That's the problem with being hyperbolic.
Hyperbolic. He's being hyperbolic. I'm gonna try not to be the biggest dick in the world, right? Because this is the first time I think he's ever disagreed with Elon, insofar as I know. But this is the most you're gonna get from the truth teller. This is the most you're gonna get. You know, Elon, I don't necessarily think that the thing that you're saying is necessarily true. I think that maybe it's a little hyperbolic when you say it. He's a fucking liar, Joe. He's a liar. He's a liar. Okay? By the way, we already have parts of the government that their whole purpose is to go after waste, fraud, and abuse, the thing that Trump and Elon claim they're doing. We have the inspectors general. Their whole purpose is to go after waste, fraud, and abuse. Guess what? Trump fired them. He fired them. We also have the GAO, Government Accountability Office. They go after waste, fraud, and abuse. And then DOGE comes in, completely illegal, completely unconstitutional, hack into our treasury, steal everybody's data, right? Delete programs they don't like, delete agencies they don't like, based on nothing, again, completely illegal. We know, as a matter of fact, what the fraud rate is in Social Security, and it's actually, insofar as government programs go, it's one of the programs with the least amount of fraud. It's 0.84% fraud, and that usually happens in the form of slight overpayments to people. Those are the facts. That's what we know, right? So Elon, who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and he's a liar, goes out there and starts hacking around in the back of all of our programs. Has Joe commented on the fact that there are about a dozen federal agencies that have investigations into Elon for his businesses, for his labor abuses, for his exploitative practices vis-a-vis his workers? And that Elon went in there and started disassembling the exact agencies which regulate his ass. At the same time, he's going in front of the public saying, oh, if I have any conflict of interest, I won't touch those programs. And Trump's like, that's right, we wouldn't let him touch it. Meanwhile, every fucking day, he's going after government agencies that regulate his ass. There's a reason he killed the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, because him and all of his robber baron buddies are criminals. They commit fraud on a regular basis. Mark Andreessen, who you had on your podcast, is a fraudster. And he was lying about the CFPB to Joe Rogan's face, saying, oh, this is Elizabeth Warren's personal agency, and they debank conservatives. None of that's true. She came up with the idea, but it's not her personal agency, and they do the opposite. They've protected people from debanking, and they've returned money to Americans when they're defrauded by credit card companies and big financial institutions and Wall Street. So this is the best you're gonna get, bro. This is the best you're gonna get. This right here is Joe Rogan roaring in to fact check Elon Musk. But ready? So actions have consequences, right? Actions have consequences. And Joe tried to do this the other week. He's like, you know, I got like some Democratic ideas. I got some Republican ideas. I'm not part of like any team or anything, bro. Oh, really? Spare me. You endorsed Donald Trump. You endorsed him. As he sat there and lied to your face, too, for fucking 3 hours. But that's another conversation for a different... I never said lock her up about Hillary. I never said that, Joe. I never said it. Cut to the fucking thing of him doing it like 15 times. Of course he said lock her up. It was like basically one of his unofficial campaign slogans. He never said that, my ass. Also lied about the election being stolen when it wasn't in 2020, right? And he sucks off Elon every day, as you all know. But, so actions have consequences. Look at this. The Midas Touch podcast grew its reach by 101% in the past month, raking in 56 million downloads and views across audio platforms and YouTube. Data as of February 18th showed. Joe Rogan's show came in second place with 48.6 million downloads and
Midas
views.
Touch, aren't they?
Down by 32% over the last month. Midas Touch, the anti-Trump podcast, up 101%. Dethrones the king, Joe Rogan, who collapsed 32%. It's nice to see that the truth is catching up to the lies. It's nice to see that, because as a general rule, you know, the lie gets all the way around the world before the truth can get its pants on. But it's finally catching up to Rogan, because there's just too much meat riding, too much glazing, too much robber baron pleasuring, too much greasy hand jobs to bloated losers who've ruined our economy and corrupted our government, right? So it's about time everybody woke up, right? And the other thing is, and this will be my final point, how many times can you have the same fucking conversation? How many oh, wokeness is really bad, bro. These college kids are so woke, bro. They won't even let you tell jokes anymore, bro. You got that every other episode, not maybe, probably every fucking episode. Right? Elon, bro. Elon's so smart, bro. He's really saving the country by cutting cancer research for kids and the Department of Education and flight safety officials, bro. You know, and oh, the Democrats are so bad. They're so corrupt. Let's talk about how corrupt Nancy Pelosi is. Funny. He's got so much to say about that. Doesn't say a fucking word about Trump running a crypto scam on his own supporters 2 days before his inauguration and stealing billions of dollars from them. Nothing to say about that. Zip. Zero. So again, spare me. Just fucking spare me with this. It looks like the truth is finally catching up to Rogan, and it's nice to see. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
So what made you convinced that he was cheating in that particular game? And by what method do you think he could possibly have been doing this?
Could you hear something? Was it like burnt? You're hearing vibrations?
You see his seat shift.
Yeah. You're smelling something? There's a whiff of something in the air.
I've definitely played some of my best Blitz chess, just yeah, listening to music.
Some wild Norwegian music? Like Rammstein or something?
Oh, that's actually German, but...
It's been awesome talking to you, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. All right, Tony?
Fun times.
Fun times.
This is what happens when you force a 200 IQ chess genius to sit in a room with two bomb experts for over 2 hours. On the latest episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, world-famous Grandmaster Magnus Carlsen was the guest, along with Austin comedy assassin Tony Hinchcliffe, to discuss all things chess. Now, you might be wondering, why in the fuck was Tony Hinchcliffe on this podcast? And the answer is anal beads. But we'll get to that in a moment, because if you don't know who Magnus Carlsen is, he's actually a legit genius. But we've seen our fair share of geniuses on JRE before, such as Terrence Howard, Billy Carson, Action Bronson, and Elon Musk, and this guy is no exception. However, unlike Terrence Howard, who showed signs of brilliance while still in his mother's womb, Magnus would peak later on in life at the age of 2 when he was able to solve complex puzzles before he could even read. Later on in life at the age of 13, he would achieve full Grandmaster status and then go on to become World Chess Champion at the age of 22, a title he would then go on to defend multiple times over a 10-year period. So basically, he's the genius alter ego of Jack Doherty. But all jokes aside, this episode of JRE was actually pretty good. In my opinion, it was probably one of the best episodes so far this year, because there was absolutely zero political talk and little to no fart sniffing. But there was a lot of anal bead talk for some reason. And it's these awkward conversations that are the most entertaining for me personally. There's nothing better than listening to Rogan and Hinchcliffe flexing their toilet humor comedy brains in front of a genius and get absolutely nothing out of him other than an awkward smile and a nod. Incidentally, today I'm wearing my fresh new Bomb Expert t-shirt and hoodie, exclusive from the Podcast Cringe merch store. As most of you know, being a top 250 comedy assassin isn't easy. In fact, it's one of the hardest jobs in the world, right up there with podcasting and day drinking. But a true comedy assassin is also a bomb expert. Just remember, if the crowd isn't laughing loud enough, you're not shouting loud enough. So check out the links below or just head straight over to podcastcringe.com to get your Bomb Expert t-shirt and hoodie, as well as a bunch of other exclusive designs only available from the Podcast Cringe merch store. But like I was just saying, it was random as fuck to see Tony Hinchcliffe on this episode. He wasn't mentioned in the title or the description. His Twinkie horse face just appeared on screen at the beginning of the episode, and this was Joe's explanation for why he was there.
Tony Hinchcliffe is here, who's a gigantic chess fan, and just creamed his pants yesterday when I told him you were coming in. And then immediately I said, you got to come with me. Well, you've always been a giant chess fan.
Well, it's actually a newer thing, but when I got into it, it was just everything. Now it's what I do right before bed. I fall asleep. Usually I fall asleep during actual games online on my phone.
You're driving him crazy.
Yeah.
How could that happen?
I'm exhausted.
What do you do when you wake up?
I wake up and I look at the board and it said you resigned because I went over my time or whatever.
Yeah.
I just ran out of time. But what you will appreciate is that when I fall asleep playing chess, like when I fall asleep, I'm still playing the game in my dreams sometimes. And sometimes the game will go all night and it'll be like this never-ending game and pieces will pop back up that have already gone.
That sounds amazing. Like I would, like obviously that would never happen to me. And like I like to play a game of chess on my phone or my iPad. And then if something comes up, like my wife tells me like I have to be somewhere, I have to do something, it's like, can you just finish the game? I'm like, no, I cannot resign the game. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously that's different though. Yeah, you can't just resign. You gotta ride that bitch out.
Yeah.
Having Tony Hinchcliffe on JRE with one of the best chess players in history just because he likes to play chess on his iPhone late at night before he goes to sleep is actually funny as fuck. It's almost as funny as doing a 5-hour podcast with a guy who thinks 1 × 1 = 2 and then bringing him back on for a follow-up podcast with an expert just to tell him that he's wrong. The best part for me, though, is that like many of Rogan's non-comedy guests, I honestly don't think Magnus knew that Joe and Tony were comedians. I think a lot of pedestrian brain guests just think these guys are podcasters. Even Magnus Carlsen doesn't have the brain capacity to comprehend the true genius of Austin comedy assassins like Tony and Joe. But that certainly didn't stop Rogan from comparing his line of work to Carlsen's.
Well, that's a beautiful way to live your life. If people can find a thing like that in their life, that really is the key to an enjoyable life. And we talk about it all the time at our comedy club. We're all in the green room. We're like, we are so lucky that this is actually what we do for a job. And pretty much everybody who's good at it is obsessed with it, and they think about it all the time. It's kind of the only way. But I'd need time off sometimes, because I think that's different, because it's always different ideas and different things you're working on. Sometimes you need time just to refresh your perspective.
I honestly couldn't agree more. Rogan taking 6 years off between his last 2 specials did him a world of good. It led to some of Rogan's most memorable jokes in his 2024 special Burn the Boats, such as being misgendered at the airport while being high, a bunch of pandemic jokes from 2020, and recycling material literally from 15 years ago. What are we doing here, B? Anyway, some of you may have heard of the 2022 cheating controversy involving Magnus Carlsen and Hans Niemann, or as I like to call him, Hans Free. After losing in their 3rd round matchup, Magnus accused Niemann of cheating, which led to some seriously whacked out theories about how exactly he cheated in that situation. It literally only took Rogan exactly 4 minutes to bring up the anal beads during this podcast, which honestly caught me off guard. Like, I knew he'd obviously bring it up, but at least let the guy warm his seat up a little bit first, you know, especially with Tony Hinchcliffe sitting next to you.
I need to know, the anal beads thing, is that a legitimate theory?
So it actually started in one of my friend's streamer channel that like one random guy made a comment about anal beads and he was like, yeah, maybe. It started taking the rounds in Reddit, and then Elon saw it, tweeted about it, and then obviously it blew up. But I really, really, really don't believe that has happened. Like, I think it has no connection to reality, but it just became a thing of its own.
So unfortunately, this young man, we'll explain the anal beads thing, but this young man is a very talented player, but does have a history of some shenanigans.
So it was pretty obvious that Magnus didn't want to entertain this theory. That was probably the most emphatic he was throughout the whole podcast. He wanted to make it clear that he didn't believe it and he didn't want it to become a thing again, even though Elon Musk already made it go viral without a shred of evidence. But true to form, Rogan wouldn't let it go because it's such an outrageous way to cheat. And it obviously sounds funny, right? And one thing Rogan said later on, which Magnus agreed with, is that the cheating scandal actually created a lot of publicity for the game of chess in general and attracted a whole new generation of viewers, which is strangely homoerotic, right? Anyway, my point is, I don't actually think that Rogan knew who Magnus Carlsen was until he saw Elon's tweet and took it as gospel, and it was the one thing that Magnus really didn't seem like he wanted to talk about.
What made you convinced that he was cheating in that particular game? And by what method do you think he could possibly have been doing this?
Could you hear something? Was it like burn? You're hearing vibrations?
You see his seat shift.
Yeah. You're smelling something? There's a whiff of something in the air?
Yeah, I mean, that would have been the smoking gun, I suppose. But
Oh, that's so fucking good. Seeing Magnus's deadpan reaction to the toilet humor and then finally giving in with a nervous smile and a snide remark was worth the price of admission for me. Seriously, give this guy a few sets on Kill Tony and a couple of open mics at the mothership, and he'll hang up the chessboard and dedicate the rest of his life to crafting the perfect dick joke. Thank him, B.
So the anal beads thing, for people who don't know what we're talking about, the theory was that he had vibrating anal beads that would somehow or another, through some sort of code, explain to him the moves. What kind of code are you getting from inside your butt that you're like, okay, got it?
Well, it would be like, you know, C4 or whatever. Like, it could tell you by...
How would it say it in your butt?
Well, I mean, I'd have to show you.
Luckily, I brought one.
Yeah, I have some in right now. No, it would be like it would buzz, right? It would buzz the letters and then the numbers that would indicate where you would move.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a sort of technological version of ways people have cheated before.
Yeah, that whole conversation really didn't go in the direction Rogan was hoping it to. Magnus was giving them absolutely nothing, which actually made me think, do they have green rooms at chess tournaments? Like, do all the chess grandmasters sit around roasting each other while they get high, slap each other's legs, and squeeze each other's nipples? Nah, maybe it's just an Austin thing. But I'll tell you what, for those of you who don't know, Magnus actually has a reputation for being super chill and not taking everything too seriously. He's kind of like this quirky genius who just wants to play chess, but doesn't really care about anything else.
If you want to listen to classical music or whatever.
You can do that?
Yeah.
So you can listen to Wu-Tang Clan while you play chess?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, playing blitz chess, listening to music usually helps me because, like, doing tasks that are more intuition-based, then that helps with the flow. I've definitely played some of my best blitz chess just, listening to music.
What do you
sitting there bopping? Yeah, I think...
some wild Norwegian music, like Rammstein or something.
That's actually German, but they have some good songs.
Fuck, Tony really is a bomb expert. That reminds me of the time he had no idea about the Cloudgate sculpture in Chicago, which is also called the Beam, and so he got all butthurt and kept bringing it up in the next few episodes of Kill Tony, just to let everyone know how stupid it is, you know, because he didn't know what it was. But like I was saying, Magnus seems heaps chill. He's into Norwegian rap music, which is actually fucking hilarious. This whole next segment went completely over Joe and Tony's heads. Oh man, you guys are gonna love this.
My best chess has probably been Norwegian rap.
Norwegian rap, really?
Yeah.
What's a good Norwegian rap band that you could, a rap group that you could recommend?
There's a guy called Mr. Pimp Lotion and Oral B.
Mr. Pimp Lotion.
And Oral B. They're kind of, it's like a little bit ironic, but they're like doing like American like West Coast rap in Norwegian.
Oh, that sounds badass.
Okay, so Magnus didn't really explain that well there, which is what makes this next bit so good. Basically, there are these Norwegian rappers who are parodies of US West Coast rappers, so their whole shtick is that they're ironically gangster. That's why they have names like Mr. Pimp Lotion and Oral B. It's meant to be a piss take, right? Norwegian culture and West Coast rap culture are clearly worlds apart. There isn't that much to rap about in Norway, right? But Joe and Tony thought that they were serious. They didn't quite get that the whole thing is mostly a gag and that they're not serious rappers. Like, they don't actually think they're gangster rappers. It's more of a satirical dig at their own culture.
I actually did a song with
Mr. Pimp Lotion.
I actually did a song with those guys.
What? What a great name, Mr. Pimp Lotion.
They did a show, and they have this thing called Spanur, which is like a moisturizer mostly used for animals. But like this Mr. Pimp Lotion, like he's obsessed with that one. And somebody apparently stole that from backstage. They didn't know who it was, but they eventually found out and they made a song about it. And so they had a bunch of people like send in their verses.
Incredible the difference between America and Norway, what the rappers are rapping about. There's gang wars and shootings, and in Norway somebody's like, who stole my lotion?
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. In Don't English. Make pull out the gun. It's best that someone speak out. Who stole the Spinol? Who stole my lotion?
Yeah. Basically, there's a bunch of verses, like people accusing each other, and then I randomly come in at the very end and solve the mystery.
Was it you?
It wasn't.
All right, guys, get ready for Tony Hinchcliffe to start shitting on Norwegian rappers on Kill Tony, and for Joe to bring it up as a defining feature of Norwegian culture. Even Jamie caught on that it was all a gag and pulled up the lyrics for them to see on the screen, but Joe and Tony still didn't get it. It's like, yeah, dude, that's the joke. Magnus was laughing awkwardly, trying to understand why they didn't get that it's meant to be ironic. I know they're all just fucking around and having a laugh, but honestly, this episode really made me realize how lowbrow and juvenile Joe and Tony's comedy is. I know that Magnus is kind of dry and just likes to play chess 24/7, but seeing them interact with a super intelligent person really shows just how hacky they really are. It's like when Elon used to go on the podcast and Rogan's jokes would fall flat on their bald head. But all jokes aside, it actually took Rogan longer than I thought it would to bring up vitamins and supplements and, of course, his holy grail, nootropics. Joe Rogan has the most expensive piss in Austin, and he loves to tell everyone about it, even a 200 IQ chess genius.
Do you normally have a method of like when you eat, vitamins you take? Is there certain things that you do to optimize your clarity?
Yeah, like if I'm playing an early afternoon game, I try to eat like one big meal before that, which is generally like a big omelet with some kind of salad.
Do you ever mess around with vitamins or nootropics or anything like that? Things, nutrients that help memory?
No, I think I think it's a little bit about the way that I was raised. Like, I'd never take medicine unless I.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on?
Not much, man. How you doing?
All right. Oh, nice day today, kind of.
Beautiful. Not bad at all.
It has been.
Sun was warm. I went for a walk on my break, and sun on the skin was like, oh wow, this is warmth. This is something. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, man.
Beautiful.
Very nice. How you doing, man?
All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry you're done with your challenges and still wanting to do it. I'm in.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm in
No.
like it's cool. I'm in a little bit of
We
weird
said
mood.
Wednesdays, so.
No, I mean I'm just like I get anxiety, and like I get a plan in my head, and then like if it doesn't go the way it goes in my head, I anxiety and just that kind of. So I apologize.
No worries.
But,
yeah, no, I got plenty of work to do in multiplayer, so
I am on the grind. I'm working on my last AR, the Cypher 091. I haven't gotten a single full kill yet with it, which is a little annoying because I've been playing for the last 2 hours. I haven't gotten a single triple kill with this thing. Well, actually, you know what? I gotta take it back because I was working on. I had an LMG challenge. I had to get headshots. Actually, my challenges were. Anyway, but yeah, I am full speed ahead on this camo grind, and the second I'm done, because like I think you still to get the final camo, there is still a challenge. I think it's like 5 kills. I don't think it's like a 5 proper kill, like a Fury kill. I think it's just 5 kills without dying or something. But I'm probably only going to do that on like my favorite guns. I'm not going to do that like because you don't have to do it on all of them. And once you unlock the final camo, it's like I mean I guess you can, but there's no challenge to unlock all of them. So I'm just going to do the dark matter camo grind on just the guns that I really enjoy.
yeah, for sure. Way to go.
Yeah. This is my 9th gun, so I've already almost got 9 dark spines. Good stuff. How's Rachel feeling? She feeling better now?
Well, she went to work today. She said that we at work though, her nose started running all over again.
Oh boy.
So that was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I was probably because she was on her feet, and you know when you're talking, I think it just kind of loosens everything up. So when she was home, it wasn't as bad. But yeah, it's one of those colds, you know, just hanging in there.
Hopefully the weather warming up will turn things around.
Yeah. Had stayed out of the bedroom and the upstairs bathroom for the last week, and I'm like,
God, that
okay, she's back to work. So well, we got a basement, bedroom, and bathrooms. I've been
but
doing that, but yeah, it's getting kind of old. Yeah, it does.
Remind those shitheads
getting old. But yeah, I did a deep clean with bleach today, and I don't know. Nothing else. That stomach flu she had is
that's gonna
totally eradicated.
I'm fairly certain you're going to be safe from any consequences. Be super careful. I mean, at this point,
occasional cold is okay, but stomach flu is the worst.
But honestly, like at this point, you've probably been exposed to it like at least a little, and your immune system is probably already like dealt with it.
Think of that too.
I wouldn't test it. I wouldn't like share share a drink with Rachel yet.
Start licking doorknobs. Like, I'm good.
Start making out. You know, hey, you're good. You're good. This probably clear. Good thing.
I've always been a little bit of a germaphobe. I'm not like crazy, but I definitely when I had my 2 roommates. My one roommate, Rich, often he was just sick a lot.
Really?
Like colds, just and then I'd just be like, dude. Like he'd leave like wadded up Kleenex around and shit. I just dude, come on.
That's just rude in general.
Fuck you.
I'm not like a crazy germaphobe, but like that would bother me.
Yeah.
So I've got nothing against you know Howie Mandel and how he's like a pretty serious germaphobe.
Okay, I think I've heard that.
Yeah, he's like super serious, and he's been this way for a long time. And I always thought he was like, "Oh, dude, it's weird." Until COVID happened, and now I get it. It's like he's no
And now
longer.
you get it?
Yeah, he doesn't seem crazy to me at all anymore. He seemed crazy before COVID to me. After COVID, I'm like, oh no, he's the smartest man in the room.
Lion authorizing napalm strike.
You never got COVID, right?
Nope. Knocking on the wood.
Yeah.
Knocking on it hard,
Yeah.
dude. Never got it.
Right? Yeah, me neither. As far as I know. It's kind of hard to, there's not too many people like us. You know?
Yeah, man.
Most people have had it once or many times. Rachel's had it at least twice.
I mean, God, that's because she's around those kids, man. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm never around fucking kids. If I was, yeah, I'm sure I would have gotten into those dirty, filthy little fucking things.
Absolutely.
Tactical incoming.
I remember, like, working at UIC, you generally, you were only working with, or, associating with adults. So yeah, it
For
wasn't
sure.
like a thing I didn't get sick very often. Then the one year I went to Libertyville, the public library, and wow, man, like the first year I got sick like a ton. I remember telling the boss there, I was like, I am never sick, man. I don't know what's going on
really?
here. But I was catching, because I mean the kids, it was a public, library, so like a lot of kids would come in the afternoons, and not that I was waiting on them, but still, I just think in general
Spreading it
germs
around.
Yeah. Yeah,
Man.
I had colds all the time.
I just try to stay away from it. Not even for the disease part, just because I find it annoying and insufferable.
Incoming lethal.
Oh, come on, man. Yeah, I thought you were gonna be sleeping.
Hostiles have captured the hard point. Hard point incoming lethal.
Oops.
Hard point located. Hostiles have the hard point.
I was thinking about it today. Actually, when I do finish the camo grind, I can still level up to 1,000.
Hard point is secure.
I'm only at 234 right now. I go hard. So getting to 1,000 might take me a while.
Sensor is opening.
But still, I will do what I can to DMC homework. It's on the menu.
Yeah, just like, it's kind of fun to go in. And, is this a guy? Why is that yellow? I've just been going in, trying to get money and whatnot.
Yeah.
Get vests and crap. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Hard point identified.
Good practice.
Yeah, I hear you.
A little less stressed when I'm going in there. Yeah, it is. It definitely is an anxiety-inducing game.
A bit. Yeah, like I haven't played Warzone for a while. Like, because obviously dying in multiplayer is not a big deal. And
No,
you just
right,
kinda, like,
yeah.
you can just like put your controller down for a second, someone kills you, just kind of does it or whatever. Had to like do something real quick. It's just I don't know. And I do well in multiplayer. Like I play well, and I can do other things while I'm playing it. So I don't know. It's just perfect, man. It's more than just playing a game. It's just like it's a meditation state. Almost.
Yeah, there's no big stakes.
Yeah, yeah.
You haven't got a golden skull and $30,000 in your wallet, and you gotta get the hell out of there without dying. And there's all these guys swarming you. It's not that.
But I feel like I perform well in multiplayer. I feel like I team top 2. We do what we do. I like doing well. I don't like sucking and dying. Shit. Sandwiched. That's the worst feeling in the world in multiplayer when you got guys in front of you and behind you. You're just kind of like, where's everybody?
Pizza power.
I love it when like you're battle housing and you got a teammate nearby and it's like, and they don't do anything. It's like,
Yeah,
why aren't you
standing
shooting at the enemy to help maybe not have me die?
They could be AFK, but they're
there's a
probably
novel idea.
they're just watching their own ass. That's what I'm pretty sure of. It's like, my teammate just died. I better not move. That guy might kill me too.
Hardpoint locked down. That's right, you shit.
Get out.
Turtle power.
I was not anywhere close to top 2.
Hey, it's okay. Next one. I can almost guarantee next one. Oh, Danny boy.
Incoming flashback. 5 in a row by my count.
I still think I got a triple kill. Just disappointing. I'm gonna give them what they need, give them what they want. Let's go. Yeah. Go on.
Now that looks natural. The Mutant Ninja Turtle doing those dance moves, that looks normal to me.
No, but the Terminator doesn't.
No. No, the Terminator, no.
They both make
Okay, so my brother just sent this text. It says, U.S. joins Russia to vote against UN resolution condemning Russia's war against Ukraine. Yeah,
I read
that's
that earlier.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
Yeah, well, we live in a Russian colony now, apparently.
Oh, we're definitely not in charge of the world anymore. We've become, they're making this where we are. There's a realignment of political allegiances.
Sure.
As we speak.
Yeah. We've squandered our whatever the hell we were before, the good guys. If we were ever the good guys, we are not the good guys right now. Captain America is bullshit.
Yeah.
He's gangster America.
Well, I mean, it's. I don't know, man. Are we like in a post-liberalism world now? Is liberalism dead? And all that's left is right-wing and left-wing authoritarianism. And the best we can get is left-wing authoritarianism, which fucking kind of sucks.
I have to say, I never imagined like that DEI was going to be like such a trigger for the right. Just.
I mean, honestly, I don't know if you remember back in the day.
Me Too movement.
I don't know if you remember back in the day when they were doing that DEI training first time. And I was kind of like, and they were talking microaggressions and stuff. And even at that time, I was kind of like, this isn't good. This is like not the vibe. And I was a bit ahead of it. I had to convince myself that it was cool. But by the time I did that, the right wing took power. They're like, yeah, it's not cool. We never liked that shit. Which they already knew.
Yeah, I mean, you and I talked about it at the time, and I had to go to some early, even before they kind of rolled it out to the wider library. I was involved in like one of the training sessions. I was asked to participate in that, and there was definitely some I think you and I both kind of had the feeling they're trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist in the library, and if it did, it should just be handled by HR or something. But I understand that there's a wider.
Honestly, after I thought about I've thought about this for a while. It's like these organizations, the DEI, really need to. There's another. They don't really talk about it in the news, but there's actually another letter that. Well, accessibility, that's a different. But the equity part, talks about kind of economic issues and stuff like that, and I think that they really should have made an effort. Across the board, all DI efforts should have tried to make an effort to at least acknowledge economic hardships of at least some white Americans. Poor whites are a significant part of this, and they're the ones that won Trump the election because they don't feel like they're represented by it. The DAI, the liberal left, should have did everything they can to take the poor whites under that same umbrella as black people, Latinos, all oppressed. And consider them oppressed people instead of just because I was getting the vibe where in some of that literature for the DIA projects we're doing work, it was just pretty much writing white people off completely, which is I get it. White people are the source of all racism, but it's there is an economically distressed part of white population that is not part of that white supremacist club. They get appealed to by the rich whites, and they get the wages of whiteness, and they don't experience a police state like black people do in their neighborhoods. But if that shit's not recognized, at least a little, it's gonna alienate.
Right. Yeah.
Because I hate to say it, but they're assholes. What? White, these fucking crackers, these assholes, these broke ass white trash, racist sons of bitches. They're assholes. But we gotta but we have to acknowledge the fact that their economic anxiety is real. But we have to give them solutions and reasons outside of only the Republicans are feeding them shit you're broke because the Mexicans are taking all the jobs. And the Democrats will never say no, you're broke because capitalists are exploiting you for all your worth. And if you had unions and working class power, you can earn a bigger piece of the pie and more political power. So just blaming immigrants. The Democrats won't do that because they're not left. They're not on the left. It's so brutal, man. The Republicans called the Democrats communists. They're not even on the left. They are at best center left. At best. Most Democrats are center right. There's no left in America. That's the one thing about the biggest difference between Nazi Germany and America today is in Nazi Germany there was actually a communist movement that posed at least a modicum of a threat to the status quo, a real an actual communist party. There is no communist. There is a communist party in America, and it has 2 members. It doesn't exist.
Enemy field upgrade.
It's not a thing.
Watch it. Fight back, damn it.
But at the end of the day, that's all fascist. That's what they're banking on. It's like, we're stopping communism. Communism. It's kind of like, dude, there's not an ounce of communism in the United States. The only communism we even touch are the products we buy from China.
Is what?
The products we buy from China.
Oh.
Literally the only connection America has to communism. I'm sorry, dude. I'm popping.
No,
Just got me worked up, man. Elon Musk, dude. Yeah, should be fucking shaved, sterilized, and destroyed.
I mean, like the email he sent to, I mean, they said it was hundreds of thousands of federal employees got an email that said list the 5 things that you accomplished last week. Like, I mean, how do you get that kind of power? And as a citizen, or is he even a citizen? I'm confused with his status. He's not a.
He's illegal.
Whatever
He's an illegal. He actually overstayed his visa when he first came here. So he was illegal just for a bit. But he's rich. And when you're rich, you can basically do whatever. He could probably murder somebody. Like, well, you know, the guy probably had it coming. He is a genius. So let's let the genius, do what he does.
Yeah.
He's not a genius, dude. He cheats at video games. He's a fraud.
Yeah, I've never looked into his biography too much, but something I read said that he made his wealth off the backs of other people who were smart. That he is not the genius in the
he's never.
I don't know.
He originally got money from his father, who owned fucking diamond mines in South Africa. That's where he got his. That's where he got his money originally.
Jeez.
And then he invested in PayPal, and got a big payday off it. And basically rolled that to other investments. He got like Tesla. He didn't invent the goddamn electric car. He wasn't even one of the founding members of Tesla. He bought into it.
So he's not like a physicist or.
He's just some rich asshole. I don't know his schooling. I don't know what but like I think he kind of cosplays as like a programmer and like some kind of like technological genius, and I don't think he's got any of it in real life.
Wow.
Like he's rich. He's rich. That's it. He's rich.
I
when
thought
you're rich,
he
you can
was
do
like
anything.
some
You can get away
real
with
smart
anything.
guy.
No, I mean he tells everyone he's a smart guy, and people believe him because he's rich. Period.
He looks like a nerd, so I guess that helps too.
Yeah, but if people actually like looked at what he did, I mean, honestly, it's like most of these people like him, people like Trump, really take advantage of the fact that most Americans are really fucking stupid and just ignorant and don't really care and just don't really know anything that's happening like 3 feet past their face. And like, and so they say like, that they'll hear someone speaking confidently saying big words like, oh, they obviously know what they're talking about. It's like, no, they don't. If you actually understood what they were saying instead of just like vibing off the aesthetic of these fucking frauds, you would know that they're full of shit. Like, all these all these cuts that Elon Musk is doing, like in the federal government, there's nothing about efficiency. There's nothing. He's not saving any money, and everything he says is a lie. Not your enemy. Misinformation. Like willfully misinterpreted data. Like they look for opportunities to misinterpret data so they can lie about it. It's whatever. It's scumbaggery. All these assholes need to be like, this is criminal. They're criminals. Like Trump is literally a criminal. What the hell is he doing in the White House? Elon Musk, there's They're violating the Constitution, literally the highest law of the land. There's no more important law in the United States than the laws that are in the Constitution. It's the top. It's the most important laws. Without the Constitution, America is no longer America. We no longer have the laws that establish this country.
Yeah.
5 kills. And Elon appropriating the funding for government programs is unconstitutional and is against the law. And the only reason why he's getting away with it is because he's rich. He's rich, and it's driving me insane, bro. I want to melt them in acid. I want to take all their money, and I want to buy like 1 billion Xbox controllers. Fuck these assholes. I want to take Elon Musk, melt him down into a puddle, take all of his money, and you and I will never have to pay for a video game ever again. We'll play Call of Duty until we die for free. And we'll get every skin. This asshole.
Hostile down.
You're thinking real big there, Sean.
Hey, man. Hey, it's 1,000 times more honorable than anything that Elon's got, plotting.
True.
1,000 times more worth
No one's
doing.
gonna die.
Call of Duty is fun and
No one's
awesome
gonna
and
get thrown
wholesome.
out of work.
Yeah, exactly. All that's gonna happen is good times are gonna be. That's it. Period. Fuck Elon Musk.
Some Republican congressman said something like, Musk, you gotta, your efficiency stuff is one thing, but he's doing it in such a cruel manner, like gleefully, like laughing at this, making jokes of it, like with the chainsaw and
Yeah, dude, it's sick. It's gross and out of touch.
Trump made a meme that was like, I don't know, I didn't see the cartoon, I just heard it described. It was like a cartoon where someone's making a list of the 5 things that they accomplished last week, and it was like, cried over Trump, number 1, cried over Elon, number 2, finally made it into work, number 3, and, read some emails was number 4, or something like that. It was like, whoa, that's funny. That's your idea of a joke?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Wow. Hilarious.
These guys are...
You don't care about the fact that this guy's family or this woman's family is, going to be on the ropes because you just threw him out of work when he was doing an honorable job?
Why would he? That's literally how rich people get rich, is by fucking people. And not giving people their worth. Not paying people what they're worth. That's how rich people get rich in America. Ripping people off. And should all be just... They should be beaten with cricket bats. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Got a lot of violent ideas.
I'm mad. I'm just mad that they're just stampeding all over us, the majority. This is supposed to be democracy, right? Like democracy meaning like people rule. We're the people. We vote on shit. We all decide together. And this guy's just fucking unilaterally making decisions that are like fucking people. And I think that people are starting to get pissed off, and like the tide will eventually turn. But the fact that we even got here in the first place is absurd.
Yeah.
But the fact that
it's
people
totally
couldn't
insane.
see this coming like 1 trillion miles away.
Right. Oh God. Yeah. No shit. Oh, let's see. He escaped all his prison time, and that's not going to embolden him to be like a king. Give me a break.
Yeah.
That's like the next logical thing you think of with Trump.
Target located.
Whatever. We don't have anyone, like, at least in the mainstream, there's no, like, in my opinion, no one to really look to for any kind of hope in this situation. All the mainstream liberal media is just kind of like worthless, man. They're just, they have no idea what they're doing. Kamala Harris had $1 billion and couldn't win the presidency. The goddamn liberals in America don't know what to do, and they're not willing to they're not willing to fight. That's for sure. They're not willing to break the rules. They're not willing to be like, oh, this is an exceptional situation. We need to think outside of the box, if you will. Oh, I hate that term. But they're not thinking outside of democracy. It's sometimes you have to do possibly undemocratic shit to save democracy. You can argue that the American Revolution wasn't democratic, but it created a democracy.
I like when Arnold blows up like a spring mine. If I shoot a spring mine, he'll say, fuck you. To the spring mine. Fuck you.
Fuck you, spring mine. I mean, he's got a right to say it. I mean, he probably knows the guy because he's
a machine, too.
He's a machine, yeah, exactly. He's like, fucking, we meet again. Fuck you. I remember you from high school.
You're not even human. You're beneath human like me.
Internet today. The internet today, guys. Like to use the term, but they did it a while back, but they talked about the term clankers as far as referring to robots or AI.
Oh yeah.
It's almost like a derogatory. So I'm
you know where they
using
use that?
Was that in
Star Wars?
Was it
video
Star
game.
Wars? Clankers?
Yeah, the one of the. Come on. Yes.
So maybe it was from
I forgot.
Dick or
you'd be out there.
I thought it was from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or something. That might be.
I don't know the original source of it, but it was definitely used in the Star Wars video game I used to play.
That's awesome. Clankers. We can dehumanize clankers all day because they're literally not human. The robots.
Oh.
Team top 2. It was a close one.
Our enemy. That won't happen again.
Some games, decent. Deadly Gamer. You say Deadly Gamer, I say corny gamer tag.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I saw a guy's tag.
You saw a guy's tag, what did it say?
Instead of Bob, it was like Brob.
Rob. That's not bad, actually. Brob.
Like Bro and Bob.
Like
Rob.
Bro-ob. Like Bro-orb.
Yeah. Funny. It made me laugh. Brob. Just call me Brob.
Rob, bro.
Okay.
Got time for another?
Speaking of Bob, does Doherty ever show up there? Or is
I haven't seen him in a while.
These days? Yeah.
I have not seen him yet. I'm sure he'll show up eventually.
What about Sydney Halpern? Is she a thing of the past?
That's
I know
a great
she
question.
retired, but
I know she retired. I haven't heard anything about Sydney, so she may.
I think she moved out of state, but that wouldn't preclude her from using IL.
Right. No, I have not heard anything, so I'm not sure. But
Oh, that's good.
we all live in fear.
I hope I didn't just summon her because
Maybe
I know she gave a lot of.
You're not saying. You're not looking in
grief.
the mirror right now saying Sydney Helper.
No, you should never do that to somebody.
Dude, you know what? I'm officially upset with Call of Duty right now. We're playing the same map twice in a row. I kept getting the same goddamn map over and over again when I was playing earlier. And it was pissing me off. I got protocol like 4 times in a row, and I was like, fuck you. Come on. And then I think I went to the, yeah, I eventually went to the grind playlist just to get away from protocol.
Wow.
And now you get this map twice in a row. What is that about? That's inexcusable.
Yeah, I had, I don't remember what map I had yesterday. I think I had one that came up a couple times in a row, at least twice, maybe 3 times. Fuck, come on, die, dude. There's a guy in the helicopter, he's pissing me off.
He
He's
just
gotta
took
go.
Someone, I got stunned.
He's got me twice now, and I'm a little annoyed. He shouldn't have got me twice.
Molotov in.
Now he's on the ground outside? What
Yeah,
the
he ran to over the side, but we're taking it. We're in this. We're in this game.
Problem with the rice? What the fuck is all that noise?
Take it C. Enemy field upgrade. Losing B. All objectives locked down. Hold those SOBs back.
Pull those SOBs back. Is that what he said?
Enemy UAV inbound.
I did not hear that.
We're probably hearing a different
objective. Losing A. Watch it. We've lost Charlie. B locked down. We've lost A. No C secure.
You've never tangled with a turtle before. Sam, cut it up.
Woods. Nah, it just came. It took me 5 minutes to remember the woods.
We're losing Charlie.
My brain is cooked.
Show 'em the turtles know how to party.
We lost C.
My Ninja Turtle skin is correcting me now. You murder someone, he's like, just showing them that turtles know how to party. It's like, that's not an appropriate response to murdering someone.
Operator establishing.
What is the appropriate response for murdering someone?
Something with a Russian accent.
Time to die.
It is your
die,
turn.
asshole.
Yeah, there you go. That's like your days of.
Gotta be action movie quality quip.
Lost Alpha.
This is
Losing Bravo.
Look at me. It's basically an action movie that you're playing. You know what they should make? Just thinking about it right now. They should do Die Hard. They based off the original movie where you sneak around the building and try to take these out, kind of like, almost like a stealth game.
Yeah.
Pretty cool as hell.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't, to be honest.
Probably will. I mean, they had a game for Nintendo and shit, like way back in the day. And nothing, that seems like something they would do. I mean, they did that RoboCop game, which was pretty well liked. But we'll do such show. I still haven't got. I should.
Tactical incoming.
What the hell am I even talking about? Fucking. I don't play anything but Call of Duty, and like I don't know what it's gonna take to give me something else, dude. I get games. I get games like pretty regularly actually, and I just don't play them. There was a big sale for a couple games. Like these games were like $1 and shit, so I'm like, I'll get them. Still haven't played them yet. Start playing them, and then I just like be like, I'm gonna play Call of Duty.
Well, you know, I bought my fair share of games too, where you like they look fun and they probably are, but yeah, it's like there's only so many hours in the day, and if you're working on the challenges, then that's what you're doing.
Yeah, but other games could be fun too. Oh god. I like playing Diablo. Diablo's fun. You know, I mean, there's more I need to learn about it. Like, there's stuff I'm missing, like as far as like, you know, particular like leveling and stuff like that, and strengthening the character. Like I'm still a little behind on that kind of stuff, but like playing the game and taking out monsters and stuff, it's a good time.
Securing B. Locking down Charlie.
And I am a very big fan of the 2D side-scrolling shooters like Contra and Cuphead and stuff like that.
Zone Alpha captured.
So I try to play some of those once in a while too, but I don't know. Call of Duty has ruined me in the best way possible.
I've been able to get away from it to do, you know, like Doom, obviously, and the Far Cries, and I did the Resident Evil a couple times.
Ah, yes.
Here and there, I've been able to get out of there and do those. And
if you have any tips or or just like if you're just kind of like, bro, you gotta play this. If you ever throw that at me, that may be super well appreciated because I just can't get myself to play them. I need motivation. I need to be pushed.
It'd have to be while I'm in the, you know, when I was playing the last Far Cry, I remember telling you I was enjoying it.
That's true.
You know, it's until you always have to go through that learning curve part, and that's always like rough, where you're like, I don't know if I like this game. It's too much to take in, and then after you go for like a few days or maybe a week, then you're all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is fucking fun, you know. But you have to get over
it takes
that hump.
time. Yeah, exactly. Getting over that hump's the thing.
We lost B.
I'm a little worried about the next Doom.
Oh god, I know.
The gameplay.
How hard is this gonna be?
They're saying that, I mean, and you can tell by looking at, I don't know if you've ever seen footage or played the very old Doom games from the 90s, and they are taking a lot of inspiration from that, and like I don't know if I'm into it. Like a lot of like the things that the enemies shoot at you kind of are a little bit slow, you know, so you're like dodging their like fireballs and such like that, and just kind of like not doing a lot of jumping, just kind of like going side to side. And it's, I don't know, man. It's early still. The game's not going up, but it looked like they're trying to do like the old style, and it's kind of like I'm more into the new style than the old style, man. I don't have a whole lot of nostalgia for that shit. I know a lot of people do, but it's kind of like all those games remind me of is motion sickness. They call them boomer shooters. Now, they have certain games that are like designed specifically kind of like that old Doom, very old Wolfenstein style.
Watch it.
And like not into them because they make me motion sick, man.
Operator establishing score streak.
That was another one I played, Wolfenstein. I kind of enjoyed that too. That
Well,
was
yeah, the newer ones. I'm talking about talking about like the ones from like late 80s, early 90s, the ones that are like explained.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, like the very first shooters ever before Call of Duty. They all go off of these different engines, you know, that they designed the games with. And the original Doom engine was used to create the first Quake. You ever heard of the game Quake?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's another one of these classic shooters. And then like the Quake engine was built off of the Doom engine, and the Call of Duty engine was built off of the Quake engine. So it's like these are all like advancements, you know, and it's like I'm not a fan of going back. There's a reason why they advanced things. Because it's better.
Dude, I just got a Fury kill. Sweet.
What are you working on right now? Anything in particular?
Just an LMG that I like this build that I have on it. It's really fucking working for me. Good. In fact, when I level up, I gotta write down my build so I don't lose it.
You don't take the screenshots. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
But and your build should save.
Tactical incoming.
I don't quite understand how that works, because like it seems like some of them save and some don't. I know that doesn't make any sense, but I've definitely lost builds when I level up prestige.
Well, that's
or
like
whatever.
prestiging's different. Prestiging's different. When you prestige,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't mean level up then. I mean prestiging.
Yeah, prestiging is like that's old. Once you prestige, you gotta like kind of so it's just part of it. And I know you're about to. I think you're just about to prestige again.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Play the game. Let's go.
Best play. Let's see what I got.
Oh, death from above.
Ladder. I'm just mowing them down. Over this guy and that guy, and then one at the doorway.
Bloodthirsty.
My fury kill. One more. There it is. Oh, they didn't show the end.
Big ass dude. Aim. Hell yeah. Alright, yeah. Look at my score.
Boom, boom.
Wait,
Were you second?
It said I was third, but I'm fourth on the leaderboard. Team top 4. Let's go.
Boom.
Hell yes, dude. I appreciate these games. I more than you know. I love playing Call of Duty. Love playing it with you.
Yeah,
and
it's
I appreciate you.
Definitely fun. Yeah. No, thanks for turning me on to it.
Let's do it.
Good times.
You're on tomorrow. You.
All right. Cool.
Awesome.
Tomorrow's Tuesday, so you got another day to get your zen going with the DMZ.
Yeah, we'll save
You
it
got
for
one more
Wednesday.
day.
We'll save it for Wednesdays.
All
For
right.
sure.
Sounds
But
good. I won't pressure you.
Thank you.
Come on.
Get triggered by DMZ.
I'm gonna keep. Here's gonna be nightmares where I'm like trying to force you to play it.
I'm just gonna
let's
wake
do
up.
it.
I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the night covered in sweat, like pyro.
Hey, who was that a boss that you killed or the last game, or what was that? We
you know how you sometimes
What
run
was
into like a
that?
high value target.
That's all that was?
That's all it was.
Oh, okay.
You know, you run into those
that
pretty
wasn't
randomly.
Juggernaut, huh?
Oh wait, no, we did take out a Juggernaut.
Yeah, I think that's
that's
that
right.
Was a
that
boss,
was a Juggernaut.
right?
I don't remember him dropping a weapons case though. I don't remember him dropping anything. Usually, like the Juggernaut would drop a weapons case. Oh, weird.
I might have picked up. It happened so fast. I might have picked up something.
If you
I
got,
don't know,
oh,
but-
then that's good. That's good. At least you got something. But like, yeah, we took that dude out. It's all about headshots. You just gotta drill those dudes in the head until they go down. That's pretty much the only shred on, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to those Juggernauts. Sponges.
Yeah. I did get a what do you call it? Molotov thrown on him, which may have contributed. but-
Molotov or yeah. Anything that will stick to them.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, Pyro remains to.
Here, get him. We're gonna
get him.
Awesome, man. Hey,
what was the thing too?
what?
I got a key last night. By the way, I got a key for what the fuck was it? I think it's the post office, which I don't know if that's a good thing, but
Is the post
whatever.
office? Is that a possible? No, it's the embassy.
Oh hell! Oh.
What?
Yeah, that's right. Why was I thinking post office? No. He doesn't go to the post office. It's a control tower, embassy, and maybe it is the post office.
I mean, it's a
I'll have to
major
look.
point of. I mean, it's a point of interest. Could be. I mean,
Anyway, all right. I'll let you go.
Excellent. Well,
Ciao.
you have an incredible evening.
All right. Talk to you tomorrow. Good night.
Oh my God, I'm still live. Funny.